It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All righty, outstanding to have you aboard. The Iceman still on the DL. And the former star receiver of The Ohio State University, DeVere Posey, in the house.
Absolutely.
Good to have you, my man.
This is an honor. We got the Iceman on ice.
Yeah. Let me give you a little.
The Iceman cooling off.
Exactly.
There it is.
My guess is, and I'm only guessing because he's such a disciplined eater and fitness guy, that maybe he pushed it a little too much in the gym. Yep. Maybe the squats. Maybe the age now. We had this in New Orleans. We have it again now. There may be a weakness brewing in that L4, L5 region that we need to examine. I wanted him to do the whole show on a inversion table in here, but
see, I was going with he broke his fast, and maybe it was like some diet sickness there. Maybe he's pretty disciplined with the food.
Oh, man, you know this, and I there is nobody that you'd rather have you coach you through a diet or coach you through discipline. I've never met anyone this disciplined.
He's coaching me right now.
He claims that on the weekends he allows himself to break out of it. I've never witnessed it in all the years. I've never witnessed him eat anything with sugar in it, anything that's breaded, anything that's fried, anything of any carb at all in all the years I've known him.
Yeah, I mean, now that you say it, no, I haven't. Well, I had him over for Thanksgiving.
That's right,
and it was an awkward moment where I was like, "Hey, Maddie,
you gonna have those sweet potatoes?
You don't have my aunt's. You need." And I went, and he was like, he gave me the hand. It was the full extension, elbow lock.
Heisman.
No, and I was like, this guy's disciplined.
Yeah.
So
on Thanksgiving,
he said no to Auntie's special dish.
Wow, that's borderline rude in a way. I think you take it and then.
Well, here's the thing. I got in this. This was very hard for me when I got drafted to the Houston Texans. Southern hospitality. For me, being a Yankee, it was really invasive. It's just like, hey, I understood it because it's like, hey, Maddie, eat this food. But I was down in Houston, and it's like, hey, come to my house. And you're like, well, I'm on a diet. I'm in the league. I got rest. And it's like, well, no, you do need these neck bones and this cornbread and these collard greens and all of these carbs. And so you take this food. And if you don't take this food, you don't respect me. It's just the Southern hospitality sometimes can be evasive. So I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
There was a story that went around, maybe he told it, I can't remember, that he showed up at your house for Thanksgiving, was nervous that you didn't answer your phone because he wanted you to greet him.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go up and actually, and I said, there is another option. You can go up to the door, ring the doorbell or knock, have somebody open it, and then introduce yourself. Yeah. That's what we used to do back in the day.
Absolutely.
But he did not want, he wanted to find you to chaperone him into the house.
Yep.
Okay.
But we got lucky because I think it was the time, it was like that frying turkey time, and we were in the garage, so he got lucky because the garage was open. So
we could slither in there.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, dude, I'm going to take you down memory lane here this hour because obviously I covered you, and I do have some questions about a really wild time in the transition with Fick and Urban and all that. We have a U.S. Open going on. You and I are both golf fans, and I've been fortunate enough to be over there and actually tee it up there a couple times. Not in this condition. Never in this condition. But I will tell you that I'm glad the course finally is biting back. Finally. There were too many guys that were under par. There were too many. Now they've only got about 7 or 8 guys under par, and Rory's come back a little bit to even. It's a very interesting deal at Oakmont. Just a quick history. They took thousands of trees out because they didn't want to become just one of those traditional tree-lined American courses, and that they all kind of look the same, and it just has the name Oakmont on it. So they wanted to go back and make it kind of Scottish golf over here.
Yep.
Just basically have it be the protection of the course are the lightning fast greens and the rough. Yep. And just have it like that. It is a wild place. It is one of those that in the beginning I didn't love it because I like to be able to
how dark that rough is.
Oh yeah. It's Lord. Mickelson was already complaining about it, even though he they didn't cut blank. But I like the fact that if you miss the fairway, you're going to pay for it. And I like this week that par should be a good score. I like to see the best in the world try to shoot par on this course. That's what it's all about.
Is it you wanting to see these guys be human? Because I like to see, just because it gives me more motivation. Right, AR? Like, I just, you see somebody with I've put that on a scorecard before. So, yeah, and Oakmont is a harsh reality that golf is very hard, even for these guys.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, that's what it should be. There should be a week of the year, our national championship, where amateurs mixing with pros, dentists, people that have full-time jobs that are playing in this, and that it's all just one big pot and you stir it up and see who comes out at the end. It's a very cool place. It's all about history there. They still have, I don't believe, maybe they do, but they didn't when I was there. There was no AC in that locker room. Mm-hmm. I don't believe. I think they have the ceiling fans going. Maybe it's changed. Maybe they do. They have the benches with the spike marks from the olden days where the guys used the metal spikes and tied their shoes on it and all that. But when they took the trees out, I was really upset. I was like, why would you do that? It just gives the course so much character. And now that I've seen what it is again, because here's why. And the only reason why is I can't tell you outside of like the first 4 holes, 9 and 18. I have no picture in my mind. Like I can honestly go to bed at night, close my eyes, and take myself around Muirfield Village.
Right.
Now, covered it. I know that course really well. But most of the courses that you play that are that distinct, you can take yourself around the course when you're going to bed at night. This I can't. It's one big plot of land. They're all back and forth. I have no distinction from one hole to the other. Trees usually help. Now, the church pew bunkers on the left of, I think, 5 are as unique and signature as any course you'll ever see. But I love the fact that these guys are going to get into trouble, try to make really good par saves, maybe make a great bogey, to your point, that it's finally a week where 18 under par is not going to win the tournament. So I'm happy about that. We'll keep an eye on it. But it's one of those things. And then the other thing is, and I don't know if TLC found this, but the U.S. Open NBC theme of all themes, and I'm talking even like Monday Night Football, and like it is way up there for me. It's like top 5. This, you have it?
The Pittsburgh theme?
Not the no, the actual like U.S. Open golf. There's a musical theme, not the Open that Rich Lerner did back in the day.
I only have the Rich Lerner.
Well, the Rich Lerner Golf Channel grew up in Western PA. And when they were there in whatever year that was it 2016 or 20, whatever it was?
I'm seeing the video was posted 8 years ago. So 17?
Yeah, somewhere, 16, 17. He did an Open that, and I don't even know, this audio may not be good enough to play all of it. It's a recording
of a TV.
Yeah, so probably not. But he did an Open, because he's from Pittsburgh, that if you listen to it and you weren't a Pittsburgh fan, you might be drawn in. It was like Montana, Unitas, Marino, all Western PA. This is Arnie's home. Roberto Clemente, Pops. Like he went through all of the
PA guys.
Sid, Mario. Like he went through all of the Pennsylvania big stars, Rocky Blyer. Like he went through the whole deal and all the Lombardis and, the coal mining and all that, and just how it's a man's man town kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it was as inspiring. Do you have like even parts of it that are even worth playing or not really?
Yeah, we'll play the beginning and then just as whatever point. Because honestly,
we'll fade it out.
As far as audio goes for screen recording or for videotaping your TV, this actually isn't that bad. So we'll play it until we get tired.
Right, let's see it.
Let's just at least start it.
Yeah.
Welcome
or not really.
Yeah, we'll play the beginning and then just as Oh wait, that's me.
Oh,
I got my YouTube.
Oh, you're
Hold on, I got us.
Okay,
I
so
got us.
So you're recording.
Industrial power. Steel town. Its earth once rich in iron. This great country, unite us and Namath and Montana. Western Pennsylvania bred, slinging footballs, but no tougher than those slinging coal 12 hours a day. Brawlers like Bruno and Bronson were born in these parts, man's man territory.
Man's man.
If you need more proof, well, this is Arnie's home, so case closed. Sporting giants forever, from Roberto to Rocky, the Flying Dutchman, to Franco the Immaculate, Maz to Mario, Bradshaw to Big Ben, Sid to Swan, Dorsett and Danny, to Dobre Shumka, that's good hand, Jack Hand. Yeah, meat and potatoes place, and put the fries on that sandwich, brother. Ketchup if you like, we're in the Burgh.
We're in the Burgh.
Smoke City, all cleaned up, all grown up and gleaming. Welcome the world once more to the U.S. Open.
As good as it gets. As good as it gets. You can hate Pittsburgh all you want. You can hate the Steeler. I mean, I'm a little more indifferent, obviously, being a Viking fan, but and I had a lot of hatred for them because they took a lot from us, too, in the Super Bowls. But I feel like that was as strong as it gets.
Yeah, that always strikes a chord for me in my ethos, just because, like, I'm a history guy, and, like, I always would appreciate, like, I'm, the understanding the capitals of each state. And when you just think about Pennsylvania as a state, and you hear all those names, and we always drove East Coast every year. It's the worst part of every East Coast trip is Pennsylvania, man. It's just like,
because it's like 9 hours across the state.
If this state wasn't here, I would be in New York right now.
Yeah.
And so just what it's been for the United States. And then also just you think about sports, basketball, and just like the great states of Philly and Pittsburgh, just the cities they have in that state. Oh, man, you go down, like the ballers that have came from PA. It's a great state, man, in terms of sports. And you kind of got to just, as much as I don't like James Franklin and what Jim Knowles did, you got to give the state of Pennsylvania, some respect there when it comes to their history. And that kind of just strikes that chord and brings up their great history for sure.
Listen, it's golf. It's Arnie. Jack took him down in his shop. Jack took him down back in whatever that was, 63 or when his first major. And it's a pretty cool place. So we'll talk about it along the way. We'll keep you up to date on a leaderboard. We'll come back. I'll walk DeVere down memory lane. He doesn't know I'm going to do this. And I'm going to talk about the win that almost was. I've got some deeper questions. That's next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here. The new weight loss meds are having results, but what happens after you stop taking them? I didn't want to rent my results. I wanted to own them to keep the weight off. I chose the medication-free solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Introducing Ice Cream Quakes from UDF. Big chunks of your favorite candies and cookies blended with real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. We'll say that again. Real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. Pick your flavor, pick your mix-ins, or try one of our featured recipes. And get an ice cream quake made the way you want. Real creamy, real chunky, real. Ice Cream Quakes, new from United Dairy Farmers.
Matty Ice here from McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Are you looking for an affordable family car? Then the Chevy Traverse is for you. This month at McDaniel GM Superstore, you can get up to $3,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Traverse. Plus, qualified buyers can finance at 6.8% for 72 months. They are just a short drive north of Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Wake up and cash. It's Top Picks on Morning Juice, powered by WeWinUwin.com. Professional sports bettor Chad Patrick. Dropping plays and juicing up your Friday mornings with fresh pick winners. WeWinUwin.com. Built by winners for winners. Stop guessing and start cashing.
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fans YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
No one knows better than a mom what's right for our kids. But with so many apps and devices, protecting them feels harder than ever. My name is Emily. My husband and I have 3 kids and we live in Strongsville. Ohio needs to act and put parents back in charge by passing a common sense law to require app stores to get parental approval before children download apps.
By requiring parental consent and age verification in the App Store, parents will have a simple, secure, and reliable way to choose what's best for their own kids. That's why Ohio's Fraternal Order of Police and the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation both support this common sense approach.
With one clear place to approve the apps they use, Ohio can put parents back in charge.
Tell your state legislators to pass the App Store Accountability Act now. Learn more at OWLR.org. Paid for by Ohio Women Lead Right.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Air quality alert back in place through later tonight, and it could be the hottest day of the year with afternoon highs soaring into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees with mostly sunny and somewhat hazy skies. Mostly cloudy tonight, and then chances of showers and storms are back into the forecast on Friday. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy and highs in the upper 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with the 10th Weather Impact Forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
True to his name, Matty Ice wears a winter coat in the middle of summer. He lives the gimmick, man. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Sap. It gets me. It's always Father's Day weekend, and it's the U.S. Open at Oakmont. I don't care if you don't like golf. I love the music. I think it's one of the best themes in all of sports, and we've ranked them over the summers before. It's up there for me. Rothman and Ice, Iceman out, Depot in, and the course is biting. Only, like I said, about 6-7 dudes under par. Some former champs that are in there. Gary Woodland's -1. Rory's back to even. He was -2 early. Wyndham Clark is 1 over. Rory made a miraculous bogey amongst the church pews. Bryson, who had a little bit of a roller coaster, is now +2. So we'll see. I love it. This is what I wanted. I do not want a U.S. Open that's well under par. I don't want to see a lot of red numbers. Make par. It's a good score. Save par. Make good bogeys. And like Depot said earlier, humanize this as much as possible. So the greens are big. Some of them are square. There's a line, and I'll bring it up later. So when I played Oakmont, they tell all the stories. And one of the stories is that Lee Trevino once bet any amateur, no matter how good they were, that you could come to Oakmont, he would play from the tees, and you would only bring your putter.
Yeah.
And he would start your ball on every green. The only difference is he got to put the ball in the starting point where he wanted to.
Okay.
So assuming you would either putt it off the green or into something weird. Mm-hmm. And that's how tough that place is. You hear about the Masters greens, these things are ridiculous. And I will say this, Max Moldovan, the Ohio State kid, former Ohio State kid, who started out early, eagled number one, holed his second shot at number one today. Didn't see it, was a blind shot, didn't see it go in, made eagle at Oakmont to kind of start the tournament, and he's now +6. So think about that for a second.
Shot.
He was 2 under after 1, and now he's +6 through 17. All right, so 2011. I'm going to ask you this, and I know you're going to be honest with me.
Yep.
My feeling before that Michigan game, and it's not like you guys were having a great season or anything like that, and Luke's the interim. So Luke Fickle's the interim. And we talked all about whether or not he could get the job. Great former player, and here comes the Michigan game. And you get into November, you lost to Purdue in overtime on the road. Things were not going well, but you lost a close one to Penn State. It wasn't like you weren't competing. And here's the Michigan game on the road, and we're asking him over and over, you think you'll get the job? Are you a candidate? And he finally broke. Like he broke and just said, no more. All I know is my ass is going to be in Ann Arbor on Saturday, and that's where I'm going to be, and enough of the questions. So my theory was that to protect against him getting the job, that they hired Urban prior to the Michigan game, because God forbid if you guys won that, there'd be a big push that Luke would have earned the job.
That was the week they hired Urban, was the Michigan week?
I thought it was fairly done by the Michigan game. That's what I was going to ask you. Had you heard that it was almost a done deal before the Michigan game, or did you feel it was fairly up in the air?
Man, that time was such a blur. Just like what you're talking about, just because it was the suspension for me, and then it was
the beginning of the year.
Then it was like the Senior Bowl, like that little 4 to 6 weeks that I played. I'm trying to figure out.
The game was on the 26th of November. You lose 40-34. Braxton overthrows you. Yeah. I think you, right?
No, it was me.
On a down 6, under 2 minutes to go.
Winner.
This is going to be the steal of all steals. Not only are you going to rescue this sub-500 year, Luke's going to beat Michigan in an interim year with all the stuff swirling around your team, and it's going to be up there. And I'm thinking, if he wins that game, Buckeye Nation might say, he's the guy. I don't care that if you went 7-6. He's the guy, or whatever you were going to go. He's going to be the guy. And so I just looked up ESPN's article from it. It says, former Florida coach Urban Meyer has taken the head coaching job, sources confirmed to ESPN on Monday. The game was Saturday, the 26th. He's hired, according to ESPN, on the 28th. My theory is that, and I thought it was out even before that. And I think Luke probably knew at that point. But I think if he wins that game, nothing changes, obviously, because Urban's already fairly signed, sealed, and delivered if they're announcing it on Monday. But my guess, and it's good that you're candid that you really don't know, that game did not have an impact on whether he would have gotten the job.
Oh, man. That year was a tumultuous year. And I think Coach Fickle, from his standpoint, didn't really have any intentions of, this is my moment. I'm going to like,
yeah,
I'm going to abdicate the vacated throne. You know what I mean? He didn't feel as though this was his time. For me, at that point, I just felt like, well, when I see Fickle now, he was really young to me back then. Even back then, he seemed young, and even now, as the age I am, he wasn't too much older than I am now. And so I can imagine it was a very tough decision that I always just kind of had the sentiment that...
He was, 28, something like that, 27, 28?
Yeah, I just always felt like he thought he needed more time. And he had to understand in that when you take jobs too early, you can go the Dabo route, or you can go the Tom Herman route, or the Tim Beck route. And it just, you don't want to.
He hadn't been a head coach yet.
Yep. And it was a very awkward time, though, AR. Like, when you talk about Urban being in the building and starting to recruit, and we were still preparing for a bowl game, and just trying to take that game as serious as possible, the Gator Bowl, and we're actually playing against, like, the team that Urban just left. And so we're he's probably showing them our plays, because he wants us to lose. So it was just weird. It was just weird.
Yeah.
It was just a weird little.
It's weird for him. It was weird for you guys. Like I said, it wasn't like you guys were ripping off 6 straight wins to end the year. You had hit a skid.
Yeah.
Because when you lost to Purdue in overtime, I thought, okay, this might implode. Yeah. But you guys rescued that a little bit, at least with some moral victories against Penn State, because they were ranked, and obviously Michigan was top 15. But I just kept thinking that week, and then it finally hit him. Like the pressure of that job. But the fact that he was one throw away, one catch away, one play away, because I never thought you were going to win the game until you guys had the ball down 6.
I ran a hook and go. It sounds like such a I
don't know who you beat, but you beat him by 6-7 yards.
Yeah, it sounds like a movie route. Like, hey, run the old hook and go. and that's what I did. And this guy just bit really hard. And, well, here's the thing. Me and Braxton always talk about this. Braxton came out his shoes. When I say, he threw it just like he let it go. Now, I say it was my fault, because when you do a double move, you should put your head down for 3 steps, because sometimes you lose speed. So, where the ball is going. So, say I go to 10 yards and I stutter, and then I restart again. When you restart, you're not supposed to look for the football, because 9 times out of 10, the ball's already traveling 1.2, and you're already behind a half a second because you stopped and you're restarting. So, you need 3 steps without looking to get back on pace to run under a ball. And this is some weird wide receiver OCD stuff, but I just didn't do my 3 steps, and we messed up a streak, and it's still you could probably see it. It still bothers me today about that, because that's an easy route. And me and Braxton have probably reran that route even to this day probably 200 times. Just when I see him, I'm like, let's run the hook and go.
That's awesome. Awesome and awful all at the same time.
Yeah, and it's
so you think that? Well, listen, he didn't know how open you were going to be technically. Yeah. Maybe he saw it, and the worst thing you can do there is underthrow it, probably.
Yeah, he put it right where it needed to be. I took it, man. I mean, and honestly, just who I am. He's a freshman quarterback, first Michigan game. I got to grab that. I got it. Yeah. I got to run.
You weren't close to it. It's not like It's not like it was a dropped ball, but you said that.
No, I got to run under that though.
The route's different.
Yeah, I had this thing too, where it's no quarterback could overthrow me. So just for fast wide receivers, I got to run under that.
And then a pick ended it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I didn't want to walk you down to that one.
It's all good.
I actually thought I was taking you off the hook with the overthrow, but apparently you put yourself still back on it. But all right. So leading into that Michigan game, you don't remember thinking if we win for Fick, he might be the coach.
Man, I think it was just for us. Herb had been. It kind of felt like he was sleeping in the closets at the time, right? He was just around the facility. Yeah. He was around.
I know.
It was almost in a capacity of, and this might be bowl game time I'm thinking about, where he would just be in a room. He didn't even want the head office yet until Fick was done.
But my point is, he had the job.
And
everybody knew it, except maybe you guys were just so.
Well, we had heard rumblings when Tress stepped down and Terrell went into the supplemental. It had already been, hey, you saw when Herb said, let's sit back and I'm going to take the year off or whatever. I think it was something with his health. And we had kind of heard rumblings then, throughout the season, hey, this is just. We're just laying the groundwork for Herb. So we kind of knew around here behind closed doors. And it wasn't Twitter. Twitter wasn't as big, so you really couldn't leak anything as far as socials go. So unless it was official.
That's right. Well, yeah. At the time, my theory was that they were almost defending against, if you guys won, the landslide of support that a former player would have gotten to get that job. And they almost laid the groundwork for Urban that everybody knew going into that Saturday that it doesn't matter if Fickle wins this game. And I almost felt that when he gave that soundbite, I know where my butt's going to be. Like, it was finally at the point where I'm not auditioning anymore. Like, we know where we are. Let's go win a football game. And you almost did. Come back in 2 minutes. Joe Burrow is talking on if he'll have to carry the defense. You'll hear it next in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads? No. T-shirt cannon? I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
It's graduation season, a time to celebrate the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new story. At Diamonds Direct, we believe moments like these deserve to be remembered beautifully. Honor your graduate with a timeless gift, a birthstone ring, a classic pendant, diamond studs, or an heirloom piece they'll treasure forever. No pressure, all sparkle, and expert guidance every step of the way. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Dog friendly. And if you ain't down with that, this is Rothman and Ice.
A little planning for you in this new era for, again, the second evolution of NIL, where the schools can actually stroke the money. And Ross Bjork is going to be at a podium, we believe, right around 1 o'clock.
Super excited for that presser, AR.
Are you?
I am.
Is your sarcasm coming out?
Well,
you are excited
just
about
based
it?
off our last segment, I feel like, these guys are, I took some bullets for these dudes. So I want to see this, like, where we are now in life, in this business merge, like, because we've always had like great business in Columbus, and everybody in Columbus on Saturdays, regardless of color, race, age, ethnicity, what side of the state you're from, that's the best part about sports. They come together and they can join. Now we're talking about that happening financially for the betterment of our universities and our teams, and I just think Ohio State fans and who we are as people, we come together every Saturday to cheer. It's going to be nice to be putting our pack of books together to making sure we're solidifying a natty team every year. That's cool.
So, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
I think it's unpopular to say what I feel. It's unpopular to say that it doesn't feel right to me. Mm-hmm. College sports, it doesn't feel right. But I understand that that's a very old school mentality. And if the evolution of you guys getting a piece of the pie makes sense with the billions of dollars that are being brought in. And I've said it over the, and I've had to kind of, move with the tide, and just because if not, you're going to drown. Because there's no way to stop it anymore. I thought that if they really wanted to slow it down, they did a bad thing with the lack of allowing guys to transfer. I think that would have been the Band-Aid on not paying guys full bore right out of the gate.
So
give them freedom versus.
Well, this is a good point because I've never got to talk to you about this. It's the last 5 years since they said NIL can happen, and then the portal can happen, and then COVID. To me, the perfect storm was not one like NIL as it stands alone is a good thing. The portal as it stands alone makes sense, and it could be. And I feel as though you can justify these transfers in certain scenarios. But when all three, and then also COVID, right? Like how that changed college sports. And what I'm talking about is the schedule for the guys. They don't go to campus anymore. It's you wake up, you're online, you're eating, you're working out, you practice, your tutor, and you rinse and repeat. COVID has changed the schedule. But all three of those things happen consecutively has made what I think you feel. And it's because they like feed off of each other, right? Like it's you look at these guys like, oh, these guys aren't even going to class. Well, that's because of COVID and how it changed college. And then you say, hey, well, he's going to this school for money, but it's just that they all happened at the same time. But I think if you look at them individually in each case, they make sense to me.
Well, and I can see why you would see it that way. Yeah. And I'm not saying I don't completely see it that way. And here's the question you're going to ask. What do I not like about it? Like, why wouldn't I like it? Or why would I care?
Yeah.
Right? And I think my answer is, if I'm being really honest, is I want the guys, I guess I have a feel in my mind, and I could be totally wrong, that the motivation now has changed. The motivation is that I'm not going to go to Ohio State for the platform and the training and the coaching and the rivalry and the history and the uniform, and that I'm not doing that. I'm only doing it for the money. If they pay me the most, I'll go there. And I feel like that maybe college athletics has the fans' passion will never change. I always thought the players matched that passion for what I just talked about, those priorities. And I could be totally wrong, and it's a case-by-case basis. But I almost feel like there is a connection. The connection between the athlete and the program, or the athlete and the school, to me doesn't feel as pure as it used to be. That's it. It doesn't mean they're not trying or they're not competitors. And that's how I've gotten over it. Because when I watch the games, the money doesn't come into my mind. It doesn't. And that run they just made, that probably convinced me that this era is going to survive. Because now, that was a special team last year. I don't know if Ryan is able to duplicate that with just any team. They hadn't won anything. They hadn't beaten Michigan. They had an expanded playoff. I mean, they had 3 weeks to get over it.
They were on campus baptizing people. You're not getting this group again. I mean, this group was a special group.
Yes.
Extremely
experience.
Special. Yes.
Dedication.
Yes.
Pride.
Yes.
Humbled.
Yeah.
I said this on the air to Maddie.
Yep.
I said, I don't believe in all of my years of covering Ohio State and talking about them, that I ever felt a combination of being this talented and this doubted.
And this good of dudes. Like how many Deweys and bar fights did you hear about these guys the last 5 years? Zero, niche, nothing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, just I'm buying what you're preaching on. This group will give you a positive feeling moving forward that this era will be okay. They showed a resilience that you kind of had to really believe in it, and had to believe that these guys cared, and it wasn't about the money, right? Because after you beat Michigan, for them to come back, they showed we still care and we have this fight, and I think it was bigger than NIL.
I think I've just been jaded by certain things along the way. Like, I can't remember if it was Trace Jackson Davis at Indiana when he left, or somebody, maybe it wasn't him. Somebody did a thank you letter and called it, the University of Indiana. And I was thinking, like, you went there. It'd be like an Ohio State kid at the end, and we've had this before, right? Somebody
who
called it
The Ohio State?
University of Ohio State. Somebody, I don't know, I can't remember.
I don't know who.
There was
But that's
somebody,
funny.
and that's why, to me, and it's the only thing, and I'll put it to bed, the purity of the passion of the athlete and the school and the program, to me, has dropped a level. It doesn't mean they're not good, or they don't care, or they won't practice, or they won't be dedicated, they don't care about their teammates. There's just something about the connection between the school and the athlete I feel has been lost.
Yeah.
Because are the guys really going to their dream schools anymore, or are they just going for who's ever going to pay them the most? And those answers can be individual for every person.
Yeah.
But I think what happened last year has talked me off the ledge to this era can survive, it can thrive, the passion can be there, the athletes can care, and they can have the heartstrings to that program and that school still exist. And we'll see. Maybe Ohio State was the one that had to do it to prove, because that was the most humble team coming off the Michigan game, and the fact that they had a chance. The other gift that kept giving, I mean, can you imagine where we'd be? And I don't know, would they have made the playoff if we were still just Final Four? I don't know if this team makes it. If they even have the chance.
If we're in Oregon's position, like if we had the first round bye. Oh,
I'm talking about if there was no expanded playoff. So they took advantage of everything that they needed. So
we'd have been playing Alabama probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this group, man, hats off to them. And I think AR, it's always been transactional for college kids. I just think you have to come and experience a place like Ohio State. And yes, those NIL deals, they talk about money. But I believe Ryan Day and company have a great model to where when you come here, we're evaluating the reasons why you're coming here. We're not taking guys that are money deals. I mean, we're probably ending deals if they start with that. So
I think they can lean into that now even more because they want. Because now he has the example. I said to Matty, I don't know, it was a month ago. I said to him, if they don't win, can he still have those? Can he have that accountability? Or will he kind of move the goalposts to help himself with the pressure to win? Now that Ryan Day's gotten over the top and he's won the title, you never take it away from him. If they trip up against, God forbid, Tennessee, or they lose the Texas game, or they don't win the national title somehow, can he still say publicly and really mean it? Or did this allow them this perfect storm of, we are the Ohio State, and we just proved that you have to have culture. You have to have a team. You have to have chemistry. You have to build. Forget the money. The money, once that ball is in the air, we are still that program. And I think that's...
Well, AR, the last 5 to 7 national champions prove that. Yeah. They marked that. I mean, even that Michigan team was built like our team last year. Just older.
That's right.
And then you go back to those 2 back-to-back Georgia teams, culture, Alabama, culture, Clemson, culture. In this college landscape, it's not like the NBA playoffs where we got 2 random these are random NBA association teams that are in the finals, right? We got Achilles blown on one side, and then, the Western Conference is, they're trying to get senior citizenship cards. But it's just one of those things.
And I'll kind of put a bow on it for now because we'll have Ross at the top of the hour. The age-old question, is money ruining college sports? I think has finally been slowed down to the point where we have now examples of a lot of money, kids getting paid a lot of money, and people still caring, still watching, and it still matters.
Yep.
We'll come back, and you'll hear that soundbite from Joe Burrow on the pressure to carry the D. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with 0 experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
And I'm his very overpaid celebrity endorser, Common Man. Bob, I heard somewhere, actually from you many, many times, that Worthington Jewelers is where Columbus gets engaged.
It's too bad you and Timmy can't engage the audience.
Good zing, Bob.
If you're thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Are you ready for 971 The Race? It all goes down Saturday, June 21st.
Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.
T-Bone, Reeser, Tybus, and Common Man request your presence. 971therace.com. Do it.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Want to know anything about the fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
No one funks up the work microwave like these two. Fish again? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, DeVere Posey, Ross Bjork, top of the hour, hopefully. It's not like waiting on a coach, so hopefully he'll be on time. But I want to get in this quick Bengals because I was looking for the soundbite because I wanted to know if anybody asked Joe Burrow about being top heavy. You guys put all your eggs in the offensive basket. You got Trey Hendrickson with no contract. A big defensive draft pick isn't signed. The defense was trash last year. How could it be better? I know they got Golden now to kind of run things, but I was wondering, did anybody ask him, like, do you feel non-complimentary still? And certainly he wasn't going to lean into that too much, but he said something I thought was almost like he couldn't help himself. And because you want your quarterback to sound confident. And here's the soundbite. I don't know the question, but I'm guessing it had something to do with whether or not he could carry the defense.
We have a lot of confidence in the defense and the things that they're doing this offseason with their scheme and their players and the young guys that we had last year having another year under their belt. So they're going to be better. But at the end of the day, you win and lose with your quarterback play. So I'm going to take that to heart and be better this year.
Ooh. You win or lose. At the end of the day, it's me. And I think he wanted to say, did you guys see that throw I made into double coverage today at minicamp? I mean,
he's like, man, I don't.
Our defense still stinks. I just pierced him through double coverage, triple coverage. Here's the thing, Depot.
That's crazy.
His stats, he won't have to worry about. He's going to be in game script mode all the time. Stats are going to be weird for him. I think they're going to be just as good. He's coming off an MVP-type season, career highs in passing yards and touchdowns. They don't make the playoffs. The defense is awful. And there's this weird assumption that everything's going to be better. And he told you right then and there, he wasn't leaning into, don't worry, Al Golden's going to get things straightened out. He didn't say that. He said, at the end of the day, I am going to be determining whether. And you know how I would follow that up? Joe, you had career highs last year, and you guys didn't sniff the playoffs. So why, at the end of the day, is it only the quarterback? At the end of the day, last year, you were the best player on the field. He would have no answer to that. He had 5,000 passing yards, and they didn't make the playoffs. So how could he say at the end of the day the quarterback's going to decide whether we win or lose? He's in protection mode.
Well,
he doesn't know what else to say.
They're true statements. You need a defense, and then also you do need the quarterback to win. But I just think in this scenario where the Bengals had a lot of problems that Ohio State had in 2023, where we were a good bending defense, but we could be broken, and where we could be broken was vertically. And the Bengals had a lot of issues containing things vertically last year. I mean, you remember these games, the Cam Taylor Britt game, this guy's not going to score. I think that Terry McLaurin went out on Thursday night and bombed him, right? You guys remember that week?
Mm-hmm.
And so with this defense, if Al Golden can somehow contain teams to, just limit, like,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
you know what you're saying?
Yeah.
Can we get one more stop a game? One more 3 and out.
One or maybe two. Or
yeah.
just can we limit explosive plays? Yeah. Can we win a game can they beat us with less than 5 explosive plays, guys?
Can we ever play with a lead? Because they don't.
Well, the Bengals last year had a lot of close games, and I understand why Joe can feel like that. But AR, man, I mean, it's hard for me to push back with the type of play I saw last year from Joe Burrow. I'm really excited to see Joe, play with, and I say with his body, because I feel like last year he changed his body. I want to see him play with this body for a second year. You get used to it. You start to feel the weight, be more comfortable. So I'm all in for some Joey B dimes.
Yes, and I'm all into reaching for him in fantasy this year, because I know one thing will probably stay the same. His fourth quarter yardage will be the best in the league. Yeah. Like it was last year, the best of the last 35 years.
Did you see the rookie's comments about the management? Did you see how harshly, as a rookie, he spoke?
Oh, yeah. Shamar Stewart? Oh, yeah. Wow. I'm 100% right, and they want to win arguments. I want to win football games, and yeah.
Is that the NIL era?
It could be giving him that feel, or he's being emboldened by the media's been pretty, anti-front office, which they should be, and maybe he just feels, hey, I showed up. We had Adam Schefter on the program the other day, and he told me, I don't even know why the guy's there. Now, he's not. He left today. He skipped out. And you know what my answer to that is? Because he's going to win the public opinion by showing up. That means he's putting his best. I'm here. I wish I was there. I wish I was out on the field, but I'm here, right? And so I think that he's just confident enough to be able to say that he thinks that what's holding this up is ridiculous. First of all, you picked me. You believe in me, presumably. So why are you so afraid about recouping guarantees right now?
Well, it's that 3-game injury. It's that 3-year injury split, right? You know about that? So it's like so what they want is if you get hurt in the first 2 years of your contract or in the first year, 1 to 2, you got to make it to year 3 basically to get all of your money. Most guys want all the signing bonus up front, and then on top of that, they want their full salary. But what the teams try to push to crappy agents and crappy, guys who aren't paying attention is, hey, we'll give you your full signing bonus, but we'll give you an injury split in every one of your years. If you do get hurt within your rookie contract, we split, we only pay you half. So a lot of guys in rookie situations, there's nothing really to negotiate back about contractually because it's slotted, right?
Right.
Like
Wage scale.
Yeah, whoever was in your draft position last year is what you build the contract based off of. And the only difference is position slide the scale. Like if it's obviously it goes from quarterback and it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully this guy gets it done. Just accept the injury split. But I say don't accept the injury split.
Over, so.
Yeah, don't accept the injury split. He's right.
We'll come back top of the hour, and we'll hear from Ross Bjork as Ohio State tries to get way ahead of the next evolution of paying players. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should've known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Get summer blockbuster savings at Coughlin Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Right now, take up to $6,000 off MSRP on any new Kia in stock. Plus, get free maintenance for a full year when you buy. Get any new Kia with up to $6,000 off MSRP. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Largest Kia dealer based on current ground stock at all 4 Coughlin Kia locations. 2025 Kia Sorento XY. MSRP $47,990. $3,000 Coughlin discount. $3,000 factory rebate. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. N7725.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings. Because you're driving to Paris.
Texas!
Then it's off to Rome.
Georgia!
And you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin.
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy. America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
This just in, the NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ, that's JOEQ, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Dylan Gonzalez. Last night, the Indiana Pacers were victorious against the visiting Oklahoma City Thunder by a final score of 116-107. The Pacers now lead the series 2-1 heading into Game 4 tomorrow in Indianapolis. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final will take place tonight in Florida as the Panthers host the Edmonton Oilers. Florida leads that series 2-1. Opening faceoff is at 8 o'clock. The Cleveland Guardians were able to avoid a series sweep against the Cincinnati Reds last night. A Carlos Santana grand slam in the third inning helped power the Guards to a victory over the Redlegs. Both teams are off today and will resume play tomorrow. J.J. Spaun just finished a bogey-free round at Oakmont Country Club. He's your current leader at the U.S. Open with a score of 4 under 62. And Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork is holding a press conference and is expected at the podium shortly. Keep it locked right here on Rothman and Ice for full coverage.
Hitting a hole in one into your ear hole. Ew. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, second hour of the program, Rothman and Ice. Devere Posey in for the Iceman today. Dylan G on the update desk. Our man TLC at the switches. So Ross Bjork comes in, and as you know, that he comes in after being the director of athletics at Texas A&M. And listen, that's not a tiny operation. 600-plus student athletes. They had 20 varsity sports. And then even that goes up a level here at Ohio State. And he's talked about keeping all 36 varsity sports in this new era and trying to maintain that pride. And I've been a big proponent of that if you can, because that would go to the old school part in me that loves the Olympic sports and that Ohio State feeds Team USA and whatever sports they can. And there's a lot of pride in that. And if those fall by the wayside, then it truly is all about football and all about the money. Basketball, to some extent, certainly they're going to give Jake some money to work with here. But he's at the podium now. We'll send you there. We'll listen to this Q&A because he has reiterated that Ohio State really is committed to providing scholarships for all 36 varsity sports depots. So that's tied with Stanford for second most in D1. Harvard's up there. I mean, think about the schools I just talked about. And so we'll see that with this $1 billion house settlement, their stance is that they'll fully fund and the revenue sharing program and that everyone is going to get some sort of piece of the pie, or will somebody get crumbs? We don't know. But let's listen into this. We'll stick with it for a little while, and then we certainly will react on the back half.
Elements that we can tap into. So how do we honor that tradition, but also be creative, be innovative? Commercialize is a word now, right? But how do we get more donors involved? How do we get more fans buying merchandise? So we're plugging into all those different elements, and we're going to make sure we capitalize on this. And then, of course, what's the right model for Ohio State? How do we be bold? How do we use our voice effectively? People, they look around the room and they want Ohio State to have an opinion, and that's okay. We take that with great responsibility. So there's a lot of things that we've been doing to try to, reflect on vision, but leave it better than we found it. Leader in college athletics, and then best-in-class student-athlete experience. A lot of cool things have happened. This is our best academic year ever, period. Best academic year ever, 3.4 cumulative grade point average. We have a 97% placement rate of our student-athletes this past year. So either they got a job, they're turning pro, or they're going on to some graduate school or some post higher education degree. So you think about that placement rate, 97%. We're still working. The 3% have something in the works, and so I think it'll be close to 100% here pretty soon. 506 academic all Big Ten selections. 36 of our 36 varsity teams had a cumulative GPA for this spring semester. And then 7 programs had a perfect APR score, including national championship football team. The only Division I program that had a perfect APR score, and of course, we won that national championship. We hosted 24 NCAA or conference postseason events, 59 All-Americans, 4 team national championships, 18 conference champions, and then lots of other individual statistics. We're 4th in the Directors' Cup. As we sit here today, we still have baseball and track, so maybe we'll toggle a little bit, but right now we sit here in 4th place after the spring sports that have been reported. And then if you think about what we do in the community, we hosted 3 major events last year in the shoe outside of football. We had a lot of football events, but we hosted 3 major events, right? Our Buckeye Country Superfest music festival for a couple of days. We had international soccer, and then we had the stadium series. So 3 massive events. And if you look at all of the events that we had, I want to make sure I get these numbers right. We had 311 events in our venues, from Nationwide Arena to Mershon to Schottenstein Center to the Shoe to all the things that we do. And that's a massive imprint on our campus. We had 1,900 events in our athletic facilities, from conferences to games, whatever it might have been. We've sold a record collegiate athletic sponsorship level of $40 million in sponsorship revenue. We're the only program that has that threshold. We have the best fundraising year ever, $80 million. And we have a total economic impact of all the things. You add all the stuff up between games and concerts and events, over $800 million of economic impact. So really, really fascinating. We've worked on a lot of things. Structure of our department, we announced some things today. New revenue, expense calibration. We're the first athletic program to have a $300 million operating budget. That's not just a one-time event, that's an operating budget. We hired 4 new coaches last summer. We restructured Coach Day's contract for long-term stability. We're doing lots of facility master planning, from Ohio Stadium to the St. John Arena corridor, our athletic district master plan, new hockey arena, the Woody Hayes complex, lots of other smaller projects. We're in the process of remaking our game day atmosphere, so you'll start to see more things about that as we approach the fall. And then I believe in culture over strategy. We worked a lot on people, just getting to know people, understanding what makes people tick, and how we continue to thrive. So culture over strategy. Yesterday, earlier this week, Monday, Buckeye Sports Group. I'm sure we have lots of questions about that, but essentially what that does is that brings all the resources that we've had in NIL, and it's been dispersed, right? Collectives, a little bit of Learfield, right? Athletes can get, agreements on their own. This really brings everything under one umbrella. So the V Foundation, 1870, the people involved in those groups, they want to stay involved. They want to help, and we embrace that. And so they've done a great job, but as we transition with Ohio State Sports Properties, it's really a marketing agency that can go out and arrange agreements between an athlete and a business. And I'll get into some of the house case elements here in a second. If you think about Columbus, 2.2 million people. We have 16 Fortune 1000 companies. We have 50 companies that employ over 1,000 people right here in Columbus. We have a ton of former athletes that live in our community, so we've got built-in connections. So really, really excited about the Buckeye Sports Group and the partnerships that have been created. Today we announced a center. This is not a physical space. This is kind of an umbrella description, so it's not a physical space per se, but we announced a center for sports intelligence and strategy. It's really a centralized resource. Many people have raced out and hired maybe what people call general managers. So we wanted to take a different approach and say, how do we centralize resources for those coaches that may not have a big staff, but can we provide resources within our department? And so although, not a physical space, we think it's just a groundbreaking resource that'll have data, it'll have sports science, it'll have sports performance, it'll have a lot of the elements around the circle of care that we use for our student athletes. So we think it's an innovative approach to adapting to this new landscape. So some people are moving positions into this group, and we announced a lot of those things earlier today. So college athletics, you guys all remember exactly what I said on January 17th, 2024, right? I know Bill does, because Bill writes books, so he remembers these kind of things. But what I talked about was the state of college athletics. And I said, okay, now that I'm here at Ohio State and we've been working on all these things in my previous stops, what happens next? College athletics. I talked about we need a model that intersects sports and academics. So we led with academic performance. Again, go to class, play games. I talked about that. I said we need a model that looks after our individual calendars, transfer portal windows, recruiting calendars, playing schedule calendars. We said we need to chart a new course for the financial arrangement between the athlete and the institution. We have that now, right? We said that we need to sit down with our athletes and we need to hear from them. That's still a work in progress. What that looks like, we need to continue to work on that. We need to redo NCAA governance. So that's being worked on as we speak as it relates to the House case settlement. And so we talked about a lot of these things about, look, it's time to really just take action, right? We've been in the courtroom, now we're in Congress, we need some pursuits there, but we laid out all of those things. And so while there is some clarity around the House case, there's still work to be done. There's a hearing today in the House Energy and Commerce, right? And so there's a lot of activity happening. So we still need some work at the federal level. So I'm almost done, just bear with me. So Project 36. So how do we adapt? So we started Project 36 in the fall of 2023. I believe before I got here about, okay, we know House case settlement is coming. How do we do it here at Ohio State? So there was a lot of planning that took place starting in the fall of 2023. So for us, right, and we know what the parameters are, there's $20.5 million of revenue share dollars that can now be given to the athlete. And as part of that, anytime you add a new scholarship in any sport, whether it's 1, 5, or 91 like we did, that has to count against the $20.5 million, up to $2.5. Does everyone follow that? 20.5, $2.5 million of scholarships. We added 91. So therefore, there's $18 million to distribute to our sports, right? And so the scholarship piece, I don't think was widely publicized at the beginning, but anytime we add a scholarship, we have to count it against the cap. And so for us, we will allocate the $18 million starting in 4 sports: women's volleyball, women's basketball, men's basketball, and of course, our football program. We really try to use metrics and a formula, while also balancing some Title IX approach in this as well. Last year, numbers create narratives, right? We know what we're talking about, right? So Patrick's smiling, he knows what I'm talking about. So look, people want to run with numbers, and this is how much this is. The key point in all of this is more opportunity for athletes than ever before, directly from the institution. And so we're not going to get into calculating how much this program gets or that program, but it's 4 sports, it's $18 million cash, and then that'll grow by 4% a year. And then it can also have a look-in period based on, new revenues that come into college athletics. So that's how we set it up. Those are the 4 sports that we start with. We hope we can grow that. We hope we can expand. We'll continue to work within that. You will also see College Sports Commission set up. So that got launched on Friday night when Judge Wilkin put out her order at 9:15 p.m. How many had put their phone away like me? I had set my phone away thinking end of June, and here we are making that announcement on a Friday night. But College Sports Commission, they will oversee, this is really a unique distinction, they will oversee the rules of engagement for the House case settlement. The NCAA will oversee rules of engagement that still live with the NCAA. So that's a very clear distinction. I was fortunate or unfortunate to be on the implementation committee on the enforcement subgroup, where we mapped out what should enforcement look like. How will rulemaking apply? How will penalties apply? And so we had an inside look. We wanted practitioners in the room. The Big Ten asked me to do that, and I gladly stepped up. So you're seeing things in the House case. Valid business purpose, right? Range of compensation, associated entities. That didn't come from us, right? That came from the House case settlement. So language specific to how this gets rolled out is in the settlement. It's a legally binding settlement. There's a cap management system that'll be with the College Sports Commission. There's NIL Go, which is the clearinghouse. I think I've listened to a few podcasts. I think that's a lot of questions out there about how NIL Go will work. And so you're going to hear all these terms. You're going to hear but that's in the settlement. That's in the settlement. And so never before have we had binding arbitration for student athletes. So that's part of the settlement. And then we just believe that we needed durability. So when all of this came up, what we said was we need durability. We can't be in the courtroom every year. So this House case settlement provides a 10-year window where a federal judge signed off on this agreement. And so we need to all adhere to this. We're going to follow the College Sports Commission and the guidelines that are set forward. But at the end of the day, we still need Congress. We still need to preempt state law. We still need to have a codification around student athletes and how do we categorize them. Students that play sports, not particularly employees. And then we need some thread of legal liability protection that codifies the House case, but also doesn't put us in the courtroom every time there's decisions to be made. So there's a lot. We can talk about college football playoffs. We can talk about transfer portal calendars. We can talk about NCAA governance and all the things that are happening. It's a fascinating time. There's a lot to it. So thanks for bearing with me for 18 minutes on the preamble. Now are you going to monitor this?
Sure.
Jerry? Okay.
We'll open up the floor for questions. We'll open up to the right. Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Yeah, Ross, last couple weeks, folks from the SEC have been pretty vocal about what they believe the future of college football and the models of the playoffs should be. Do you think that the Big Ten and some of you guys should start speaking out more on what you guys believe is best for everything? And how do you start about being more vocal with that?
Yeah, look, here's the decision-making authority rests with the commissioners in the room. And then they bring that to the governing board of the CFP, which is presidents that represent all 10 of the conferences. So to me, debating it in public, I don't think that does any good. I think what we need to do from our perspective is we need to take a step back. We need to keep engaging with our colleagues across. I saw a lot of the SEC ADs this week. We had those conversations. And so, could we be more, vocal about some positioning? Perhaps. But at the same time, there's so much work that has to be done. So look, we believe in what we believe in. We're willing to listen, and I think that's a position that we have to take. But playing it out in public and staking claim, what good does that do? Because one week it was 4-4, 2-2-1 had a lot of traction. That was out publicly, and then the next week it was 5-11. But have we accomplished anything yet? No. So let's play it out where it should be played out, in these conversations where the authority lies. And so, look, we're confident in the commissioners. We're confident in Commissioner Pativi. I worked 12 years with Commissioner Sankey. We'll figure this out, but I think we need to all just take a step back and then come back together at the right time to fix it, because we know we can fix it. We just have to come back together.
Far left, Dan Holt, 11 Warriors.
Ross, it's been well publicized that you made a push to get the Ohio State-Texas game moved to Sunday night. Kind of what was that whole process like, and what are you doing to try to get more of those marquee night games going forward?
How much time do we have? It's up to you. Right? It's up to me. Okay. Is this a podcast? Is this a long-form podcast that we need to go through? Really started the conversation back in the fall, as we were forecasting out and knowing that we had a lot of noon games last year, just forecasting out, okay, we got Texas, big-time game. Who knows what would happen? We didn't know what postseason would look like back in November, right? So just mapping out, okay, that's going to be a big game. And look, I think our program, our fans deserve some marquee night games. So we started having that conversation. Texas in the contract, it goes both ways. They have the ability to approve or not if a game moves off of a Saturday. We asked them. I don't blame them. But those conversations started. We worked with Fox. They were understanding. But really, at the end of the day, there's no flexibility in the contracts. Fox bought the noon window. CBS bought the afternoon window. And NBC has the night window. And then the Big Ten Network and Peacock, layer into that. So what we need more flexibility. Can that happen anytime soon? I don't know. But I think every program should deserve the right to have way more flexibility. We have carried the day for Big Noon. There's no question about it. You look at the viewership. So we understand why Fox went with Big Noon. We understand why we're picked all the time. But we're hoping just more flexibility. That's what we're looking for. And so, I think Commissioner Petitti is going to work with our TV partners. We're going to continue to have those conversations. But can anything change anytime soon? Probably not, because those contracts are rigid and they're locked in for several years.
You mentioned that Ohio State has carried the day. Do you feel like you guys maybe need to throw your weight around a little more the next time those contract negotiations come up?
I think the question is, what does that mean? What does that mean when you say that? And so I think we can be firm in our positioning. I think we can show data on how we have carried the day. So we have said no to Friday night games. I mean, there's been some things that we have kind of drawn a line in the sand, and that's okay. But I think we need to be thoughtful about, okay, there's going to be a balance. We do have a TV partner with Fox. They're paying us a lot of money. They actually sub-license to CBS and NBC. Right, and so what we're hoping for is that there's a little more collaboration because of that, and so we'll continue to express that.
Far left, Whitney Harding, WCMH.
Hey Ross, one of the questions around the settlement revenue share does bring up Title IX. How do you work that out with a sport with so many players like football to try to even things out? And I've asked you this before, I'll ask it again, does Title IX need an update?
Again, how much time do we have? Look, we have an obligation to follow Title IX in several buckets. Proportionality of student body comparison to our roster comparison, and we're about 50-50. We're really, really close, and we're proud of the work that takes place to get that done. And then you have financial aid allocation, proportionality to your student body. So we meet those two prongs. The revenue share in the NIL world is not subject to Title IX per se, but we do have an obligation to support our female athletes just like we do our male athletes. That's the one great thing about the Buckeye Sports Group is most of the collective work has been male athlete dominated. The Buckeye Sports Group allows us to spread out the attention. So we can promote 100 female athletes and 100 male athletes just the same. Now, the market may dictate different numbers, but from a Title IX standpoint, we think we'll be in a better position to support our female athletes. The back payment, I know there was an appeal yesterday. We'll let that play out. I think they did a lot of analysis on that piece as well, but for us, we know that we use metrics for market-based revenue share allocation. We had a proportion for Title IX, and we think that's a good approach. And then with our Buckeye Sports Group, we'll be able to promote our female athletes like never before.
I have one that's like maybe step 50 while you guys are on step 10 here. International athletes, with as far as revenue share goes, because they come here with student visa, that's a work visa.
Right.
How does that work out?
Yeah, we're going through that right now. I know President Baker mentioned some things yesterday in his press gathering at the NACDA convention. It's complicated. We don't want to compromise our international athletes. Obviously, we'll get legal advice on what the right approach is. So it's a little bit of a moving target from that standpoint. But the most important thing, protect them and their status, but also is it viable in the market? And those things are being played out right now.
No way again, 24/7 Sports.
Well, yeah. So the 18.5 million.
18.
Okay.
20.5.
20.5.
Minus 2.5.
Okay. 18.
A lot of math.
Will you strictly be the person who says this percentage will go here, or do you have a committee of your top advisors that are helping you figure that out, or how would that?
Yeah, look, it's a lot of programs raced out and announced, and they really followed the House case settlement allocation, 75, 15, 10. What we did is we used metrics. So we said, okay, what does football drive? What does women's basketball drive? What does volleyball drive? And then we came up, knowing we had 18 million, what are some metrics that can put some parameters around how to allocate it? So that was a process through a lot of data, a lot of studying that our staff put together. And then at the end of the day, okay, this is where we think football is. So yeah, I signed off on that, was a part of that discussion. And then we'll give those allocations to our coaches, and then they'll have to decide how to divide it up. The other great thing about our scholarship model is in the past, you had a equivalency model, so baseball had 11.7, and they had to divide that up. What we did in this model is we said, okay, baseball, your cash equivalent of 11.7 was this. We're going to add this to your model, and then Coach Hare will have the ability to spread that out as he sees fit. So he will almost have his own sort of scholarship cap within his budget, but he can spend that as he sees fit. And that's the great thing about our intelligence and strategy center, is that we'll be able to provide central resources to all of our coaches. But really, the sports have to decide the revenue share bucket, the scholarship bucket. They're the ones that are accountable to that, and we'll support them centrally with resources.
If I can ask, they're talking about if you want to compete at the national championship level in football, you're going to need about 30 million. If you want to compete at the national championship level in basketball, you're going to need about 10 million. You said 18, so that leaves $22 million that's got to come from outside sources into your department to then give to athletes and to promise to athletes to get them here, to pay the athletes, etc. Are you convinced that $22 million of these NIL Go contracts are going to get approved? And when that gets challenged, is that going to withstand court challenge? I mean, what?
Yeah.
What's this look like?
Yeah, do we have a whiteboard in here? Look, here's the thing. It all depends on when. So what you just described is, when does that money get counted? So we have been in an environment the last 4 years, and then when Collective started, that there wasn't necessarily a valid business purpose between a collective and an athlete. It was, look, we have this money, we think you're worth this, here. There wasn't a lot of obligations by the athlete. So those numbers that are being floated have been between June 30th and backwards. So there was a lot of front-loading activity that took place really since January up until June 30th. So when people are throwing out those numbers, you really need to say, okay, when are they counting that? Are they counting that from January 1st of 2025 all the way to June 30th of 2026? Then it might be at that number, because you have the cap that's established and you have the previous NIL environment. Going forward, you will have your cap. Everyone will have the same number. And I would think most of the Autonomy 4, Power 4 programs have a similar distribution model to us, especially when they added scholarships. But anything above and beyond that has to go through the clearinghouse, has to go through NIL Go, has to be approved. And it has to meet, again, valid business purpose. If it's an associated entity, it has to go through the system. And it will meet a range of compensation for a similarly situated individual. I didn't come up with that language. Deloitte didn't come up with that language. The commissioners didn't. That was in the settlement negotiated between the plaintiffs and the defendants. So is it going to be 40 million in the future? Doubtful. Could somebody have a really robust system? We think we can. What is that number? We don't know yet. But we're going to be competitive. We have Columbus. But these numbers really, you have to really ask when. When are you counting that? And that's what I think has gotten out there, is that people still think there's going to be this chase. So unless somebody's going to go outside the NIL GO system and they're going to go outside the cap, which will be enforced by the College Sports Commission, then they're going to be in violation of the lawsuit, a federal lawsuit. Arbitration will be applied to student athletes, and everyone that is going to be opting into the settlement, Autonomy 4 and non-Autonomy 4, is going to sign an agreement attesting to we are going to follow the rules. So there's a lot of durability built into this that wasn't necessarily there before. Hopefully that kind of.
I think it covers in the lines a little bit.
I see you're still skeptical, but I get it. And that's what we had. Look,
I don't know what I don't know.
That's the world.
Your walls,
Right. Yeah,
what your numbers are.
That's the world that we have to get through. There is a lot of criticism. There's a lot of unknowns. That what I think is what's missing in all of this is the fact that a federal judge signed it. That's precedent across the entire country, and the fact that you have a binding arbitration process that an athlete is going through, and they had plaintiff attorneys representing hundreds of thousands of athletes. So the ability to have the legal protection and the durability in this, I don't think any of us would have agreed to the terms unless we had some durability that we're going to be able to withstand, any sort of scrutiny.
Right behind him, Danny Eldridge, and a news service.
Hi, so you talked a little bit about wanting some changes at the federal level, Congress. Are there any changes needed at the state level for Ohio State to be able to do what they need to do? I know you successfully lobbied to be able to forever compensate players in the first place, but do any changes need to be made there at the state level?
We're going to stay engaged at the state level until there's federal oversight, a federal bill. I think it's important that we stay engaged. Our local leaders, our state leaders have been really proactive. We worked with Governor DeWine on an executive order before the end of the calendar year last year, but that got put into a state bill and a state law that got signed. So we believe right now we're in good shape in terms of the structure of NIL as it relates to the House case. I do think we could look at more agent protections and more agent sort of registration, education, so we're having those conversations right now. I think the elements, otherwise, I think we're in a good spot.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ross, the Alston payments are
Alston payments, yeah.
Those are subject to the cap of the lawsuit or the settlement, and because 2.5 is for scholarships, $18 million is for the direct payments. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what we did is we took our Alston money, if you will, our allocation, and folded that into scholarships. So it didn't count against the cap. It was just folded into our scholarship number. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we added more budget to, like, baseball. Use baseball as an example. So part of their budget before was Alston money. We just folded that into their new scholarship allocation. So it was counted as a new scholarship. It wasn't counted as Alston payments. Alston payments in our category have faded into more scholarships, if that makes sense.
And with the four-year funding for in terms of the direct payments, I think football and basketball, people expect to go doing women's volleyball.
Yeah, look, the sport's really popular. The Big Ten is a leader in women's volleyball. We want to get better. Coach Jen is working on a plan to get us back on track, and so we think with the attention that our program can receive, we think the Columbus market, volleyball is a booming sport. The Cavelli Center is an amazing atmosphere. So we thought volleyball could be a sport that could drive more revenue, but also the attention that it gets within the Big Ten.
Tony German, Buckeye Huddle.
Ross, do you want to share what the metrics are in terms of what each of those four sports are going to get of that 18 million?
The specific numbers?
Yeah.
No. That's what I mentioned at the beginning. Numbers create narratives, right? And we just back to Steve's point, right? So no, we're not giving out. And plus, look, that's kind of a trade element, right, that we think we should be protective of. And so again, we're competitive in the marketplace, but the specific numbers, people get latched onto that. The important thing is 20.5 new scholarships, 18 million across 4 sports, and it'll grow over time.
And instead, I'll just ask, what's Ohio State's thought on what CFP plan they want moving forward? 4-4-2-2-1.
Look, we could be really, really selfish here and say we should go back to a 14 playoff. And I think Ohio State will be really good. We'll be well positioned, right? But for the good of the game, I think for our conference, I think expansion should happen. 14 or 16, I could kind of go either way. And then, look, I think in this world, one, I think players want to play high-level games. And then two, content. We need more content because that will drive more revenue. That can drive more NIL opportunities for our athletes, third-party NIL. And so can we create play-in games that equate to automatic qualifiers? I think that's a really good model. And the other thing, too, there's a lot of debate about the committee, right, and what kind of metrics they have. If you have automatic qualifying spots with play-in games, then you have more content, and you eliminate a lot of the committee maybe dynamics that may, get in the way. So that was our thought. We think, but again, take a step back. Let's recalibrate these conversations. Let's figure out what is the right model. But from our standpoint, look, we're going to always be in position. We're consistent in our performance, what we're doing in recruiting and Coach Day and the leadership. So, look, that's our perspective. Is expansion. Well, let's get the right model that I think produces, more excitement, more content, makes the regular season matter. The fact that we're playing Texas the next 2 years, Alabama the 2 years after that, Georgia down the road. If we're going to keep playing those games, then it needs to add up in the playoff calculation. Otherwise, you won't see those games, and I think that'd be sad for college football.
Are you still in favor of keeping the Big Ten championship game going, even with the play-ins?
Look, I think it depends. I mean, it provides a tremendous amount of value, but if you're doing AQ spots with playing games, could there be a different model? Right, so I think that's a conversation that has to continue.
Second row right, Stefan Preisty, Cleveland.com.
Talking about the $2.5 million, the 91 new scholarships, is that just this year we had the scholarships, or is that 2.5 every year?
As of now, it counts against the cap every year. There's some discussion that may go away over time, but we're not quite there yet. But right now, it counts moving forward.
And I know ESPN did a report earlier this year talking to you about the transfer portal window, wanting the 10-day window in May to kind of line up with the fiscal year. Is there progress being made toward that? Do you think the football calendar could be changing anytime soon?
Yeah, one of the unique challenges about where we are right now is you have College Sports Commission governance, right? House terms, settlement, logistics around that. And then you have NCAA governance. There is a question, where should that transfer portal sit? Should it be governed by the College Sports Commission as it relates to those autonomy for conferences? Or should it stay with the NCAA? So that conversation is ongoing. I'll stay on the implementation committee. And what we want to do with our group is we want to have a recommendation on a comprehensive calendar. And that's the thing that we need to really get to is we should have a calendar. Okay, what does it look like from, let's say, July 1st to June 30th? And we'll just use the sport of football, right? What does training camp look like? What does the season look like? We should have 2 bye weeks, I believe, per year, because that's better for the players, especially if we're playing more games. But some years you have 2, some years you have 1, and it's all a fixture of how the calendar falls. So I think we should have 2 bye weeks, and then where should signing day? I mean, all of our official visitors, or 95% of them, are in the month of June. If those young men and their families are ready to make a decision, can they sign now? Or can they sign at a certain date once they take their visit? So that has to be layered in. The college football playoff schedule has to be layered in. When do you transfer? If we ever say that we care about academics and we want to live by that, then I think the transfer portal window should be in the spring. And then now that you have a revenue sharing contract where you will have an MOU with an athlete from a fiscal management standpoint, it's better to put it in the spring. So where it sits, who has authority, how it gets done, that's all being debated right now. Does it go back to the D1 Council? Does it live with the College Sports Commission and our implementation group? Does it live with the commissioners? So we have to keep pushing that. My colleagues and I in the Big Ten, we want to keep pushing that. We'll collaborate, we'll communicate, but we think we need to get that done sooner rather than later, because fall will be here soon. And all of these things are going to be on top of us, and we need to have that transfer portal window cleaned up, for sure.
Wow. To quote Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School in 1986, I feel like I just gave birth to an accountant. We will come back in the bulletin. There are a couple things that stood out to me, and it's fairly obvious, but I think he painted a pretty bleak picture, not as far as keeping all sports, but maybe keeping all sports happy. We'll talk about that in moments. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvus are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Summer is finally here. That means long days, warm nights, barbecues, sporting events, and that vacation you've been planning for months. The last thing you want to deal with is a leaking roof or unexpected damage to your home. At Newman Roofing, we understand that life gets busy and your time is important. And that's why we designed our entire process around you. Whether it's your roof, siding, or gutters, we believe in doing things the right way, not the rushed way. No high-pressure sales, no pushy pitches, just honest conversations from professionals who respect your time and your home. When you call Newman Roofing, here's what you can expect. First, we'll take time to diagnose the issue, not just slap on a quick fix. Then we'll present clear, quality solutions and answer your questions so you can make the best decision for your family and your budget. And right now, we're offering special financing options so you can protect your home without putting your summer plans on hold. So go ahead, fire up the grill, pack your bags, or hit the ball field. Let Newman Roofing take care of the rest. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hollywood Casino Columbus is bringing the funny this summer. Tiffany Haddish takes the mic on Friday, July 18th with the Funny and Fearless Tour. Then Dion Cole Live hits the stage Friday, September 5th for a night of nonstop laughs. 2 comedy icons, 2 unforgettable nights. Get your friends, grab a drink, and get ready to laugh all night long. Big names, big laughs, only at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. Visit HollywoodColumbus.com for more details. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Learn the game, meet future stars, and have a blast at the Browns Youth Football Camps. In partnership with University Hospitals, the camps kick off Monday, June 16th. Go to browns.com/youthfootballcamps25 to sign up today.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth, and you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way, you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
The Ohio State University ROTC has scholarships available. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text Kettle to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text KETTLE to 321-321. That's Kettle to 321-321.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Air quality alert back in place through later tonight, and it could be the hottest day of the year with afternoon highs soaring into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees with mostly sunny and somewhat hazy skies. Mostly cloudy tonight, and then chances of showers and storms are back into the forecast on Friday. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy and highs in the upper 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. And listen, we went into this not knowing, it's a press conference, you don't know what questions are going to be asked, but I think a lot of good ones were. He certainly didn't give any definitive answers on how they're going to control this as almost a salary cap. My feeling coming out of this, Depot, is this. The football guys have the easiest chance to make big NIL money. More than volleyball, more than baseball, more than tennis, more than wrestling. Like, they have a better opportunity. And so it wouldn't be popular, though, to say, hey, we're going to split up all this $18 million amongst the sports and the athletes that really need it the most. That this isn't a need. And I could tell, I could hear it in his voice because I heard him say that even though this is going to be an evolution, that this revenue sharing is going to start with football. And everyone listening would say, well, obvious. Men's and women's basketball, okay, obviously, if you want to rank the sports in importance. And then women's volleyball. And $18 million is going to go to those sports. And it started me thinking, well, if you really wanted to invest in all your sports the way you say you do, then why wouldn't you give the money, break it down to more of the ones that won't be able to get the big NIL money? Football guys mostly are going to get it. But I understand. I labeled this years ago when it first started as the Keep the Kids Happy Fund. And the kids they need to keep the happiest are the sports that he ranked. And because somebody asked him, who's going to decide who divides the money and who gets what? And where does Title IX come into this? And he did say, well, we're going to be able to promote the women more. So maybe what they're going to try to do is get the lesser sports more money, almost like try to help the lesser ones that won't get the NIL money, but also give the people that are paying the NIL deals maybe some more access or things they wouldn't get if they can support some of the other sports. I really don't know, and I'm not saying that they're doing it wrong. I'm just saying that I read into that right away as we know where our bread is buttered, and we're going to continue to lather it on there pretty heavy because we know that's going to keep everyone happy. Because if you asked a Buckeye fan right now, what's the most important thing to them? It's not winning an NCAA championship. It's winning another football title. And I'm not saying they don't care about winning basketball, But if they really did, they would say football's getting enough. We're okay there. But I don't think too much is never enough. And I think that's kind of where we're going. And that's what scares probably everybody a little bit. But he just basically admitted we've prioritized the sports. And we are not going right now to deviate from that. And I'll give you kind of an example. And then I want you to get your feeling on that. Things get political really quick on who's going to get the resources. You could just tell. He admitted he's going to continue to invest in programs that, quote, generate revenue. And I'm not here to tell you that volleyball outdraws basketball. It doesn't. It's got great support over there. But it started me thinking that these sports that have been very successful over there, will they start to be diluted based on the kids not wanting to go there? Baseball, tennis, been very successful. Wrestling, conference to conference and all that, it's not the same. It's not the same. Let's take Wisconsin, for example. The Badgers women's basketball team last made the NCAA tournament 15 years ago. Their volleyball program is incredible. It doubles women's basketball as far as teams' average attendance. So they're going to apply probably a higher percentage of their revenue-sharing dollars toward volleyball and less towards women's basketball. I think what I got out of this today is that he still thinks that basketball is important, that there's been enough cry and there's enough money if you get them to the tournament that you can maybe recoup some of that money. But then I started thinking, well, boy, the NIL deals are there for the taking for big football stars. But he just basically leaned into that we have to keep our highest revenue sport the happiest. And it's pretty obvious to me that that's what happened today.
Yeah, man, when I was listening to it, I don't know if I heard too much about sport for sport and what dollar got each sport, because my mind was trying to grasp this ecosystem and just hear his definement of this Buckeye Sports Group. And literally, just like if we were looking at the front page, cover page of a resume or a mission statement for this Buckeye Sports Group, I was hoping that I could extract some of that from, 5 sentences from Ross today in terms of like what this Learfield Buckeye Sports Group / collectives will do and how they will facilitate and what kind of branding and what kind of contract guidelines they will help these guys. Because from a former player standpoint, direct payments, understanding scholarships, endowed, like for a school that has a history of endowed scholarships to direct payments to recruiting, understanding how this plays into the scholarship count. And then on top of like where this money goes and how it helps business and just like the future of it. I mean, he kind of mentioned this thing about this ecosystem of, NIL. And then like, I had this thought like, wait, what? Like, what if Ohio State required all the athletes to keep their money in a pool and then we drew interest off of this pool and it stays in and you just stay on salary and you get your allotted amount per salary. And then when you retire, you can draw upon that amount that you amass plus interest off of what everybody else has. And I just think for Ohio State, like we were talking about in the first hour, we showed how to build a roster and win it within these new playoffs. We've done that twice. We've showed multiple colleges how to navigate new systems. This presser, this sports group, the future of NIL, the structure, how we're going to support our athletes, the coming together of business in Central Ohio, this presser was just not long enough for me. Like, this is like a weekend conference of like what we need. We need to go.
He kept saying, how much time do you have? How much details?
It's so deep.
Yeah.
It's so deep and it's so in depth too. I mean, even with like structure and communication, right? Like how can we have a correspondence with media so we can understand this better, because this is no book we can open.
I don't think that there's a perfect system or a right or wrong. So hear me correctly. I'm not saying that if the money goes to football, that's wrong because those are the guys that have the best chance of getting NIL. I think what the Buckeye Sports Group and the marketing agency is going to try to do is not only arrange deals between companies and football, but maybe try to help some of the lesser sports with that. And that's why I said that my guess would be, if we give you enough access to football, would you help out this? And because I think they do, I think at the heart of it, they do want to keep the scholarships where they are. They've added 91 scholarships, so that's what took that $20.5 million down to 18. But I'm not getting lost in the millions. I'm getting to the point where we are looking at his job is to keep as many sports on top of the charts and keep the big boys up there. Invest in basketball. Get them back to being an Ohio State basketball prideful thing. Invest in volleyball because they're worth it. But he's not just here to do the good old college try as far as like the scholarships, and this is where I like the old school is, they're still going to put some emphasis on scholarship, free education, room and board, food, training, all that. Like if these sports want to stay alive and you want to come play and represent Ohio State in certain sports, whether it's lacrosse or hockey or whatever, that you're still getting that. We're keeping scholarships. Like this isn't just about the extra money that you can make on top of it. For some of them people it will be, but their revenue sharing, if you got anything out of that today, is going to start with 4 sports. May not end there, but it's starting there. Football, men's and women's hoops, and women's volleyball. He said it. It wasn't anything that I had to decipher. It was, that's it right now. And so there is a fear in my mind, would a kid who wants to play baseball at Ohio State still come here? Well, maybe that's what the Buckeye Sports Group and the marketing agency is for, is to keep things afloat the best they can, support all their sports they love doing, but track, lacrosse, field hockey, swimming, wrestling. I really have no idea, because those teams, let's all be real, do not generate the same revenues as football and men's basketball.
There's no ROI on that AR, and we are in the world. If we're paying them, we want an ROI. So I have to be on the side of Ross as much as like my traditional college side would love to fight for rowing and fencing. It's just if we can't put 50,000 people in an arena to watch this, I have to give my resources to what gives me an ROI.
And what if you polled Buckeye Nation, they would rank. They would rank as what's most important to them. Now, personally, that's personal too.
Yeah.
Because whether maybe you love wrestling or you have a background in it, or that you feel like that those champions are worth something, and whether you're feeding Team USA and you want to keep that pride going. I think that's what I heard in his voice today, is that we have pride in all our sports, but we're going to be real about how we can keep this afloat financially and then also keep the championships generated and competing for championships. So the revenue sharing, if there was a headline that came out of that for me today, it's there are a big 4 that he at least said. Now, whether it continues to be a big 4, I have no idea. Like I said, the other schools can zig where others zag because it means more to them, and that will be an individual thing. Football obviously rules the day, but the key point in everything that he feels like there'll be financial opportunities for more athletes more than ever. We'll find out. The proof of the pudding of that will be in the results. And if those kids still feel like going to Ohio State to play those other sports I talked about, lacrosse, wrestling, all that, will it still matter if they can get a piece of the pie somewhere else? Football players do it. So if I can go to a school that prioritizes tennis, I'm not saying Ohio State doesn't, they do, but prioritize it financially, then we might get a lesser version of what these football guys are doing. Maybe I always dreamed of going to Texas, but guess what? Oklahoma State's paying me a lot more. And even though I didn't have a dream of going there, I'm setting myself up for a future financially by going there. And maybe these other sports will have to just not cannibalize each other, but through the process of the evolution, it may solve itself. We'll come back with a lot more after a Sports Center update, and maybe it's time to go all in on the value for this team. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. time. Bye-bye.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here to let you know that Clayton Homes Sign and Save sales event is going on now. Clayton Homes is changing the way homes are built, making them affordable to buy and cost less to live in. And right now, you can save up to $5,000 instantly with the Sign and Save sales event. Every Clayton-built home uses quality products from the world's most trusted brands and comes equipped with Energy Smart features for year-round comfort and a lifetime of savings. Clayton Homes are designed with you in mind. Premium features that turn your house into your dream home. Get the luxury, quality, and style you want in a beautiful, affordable home with energy-efficient features to fit your budget. Check out their fully furnished new home models and see all the options available to create the perfect home. With many floor plans to choose from, Clayton Homes is certain they can help you find what you've been looking for. Visit the local Clayton Homes near you or browse their limited time deals at manufacturedhomeoffers.com to learn more. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through August 31st. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Summer savings, Rich is backing it up. He has rates as low as 0% and leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 25 Honda HR-V LX CVT two-wheel drive? Lease it for only $259 a month. 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $30.39 down. And all trades deserve a sweetener. He's giving you an extra $1,000 for yours. See them for all the details. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270. Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy, America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
Hey, my phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Dylan Gonzalez. Last night, the Indiana Pacers were victorious against the visiting Oklahoma City Thunder by a final score of 116-107. The Pacers now lead the series 2-1 heading into Game 4 tomorrow in Indianapolis. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final will take place tonight in Florida as the Panthers host the Edmonton Oilers. Florida leads that series 2-1. Opening faceoff is at 8 o'clock. The Cleveland Guardians were able to avoid a series sweep against the Cincinnati Reds last night. A Carlos Santana grand slam in the third inning helped power the Guards to a victory over the Redlegs. Both teams are off today and will resume play tomorrow. J.J. Spawn just finished a bogey-free round at Oakmont Country Club. He's your current leader at the U.S. Open with a score of 4 under 62. This Sports Center was brought to you by The Waterworks, your trusted neighborhood plumbing, draining, heating, and cooling experts. Visit online today at thewaterworks.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour, Rothman and Ice. DeVere Posey in for the Iceman today. Do not miss Ronda Barber, 2:30. All everything DB. Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl champ. And obviously 7 minutes older than his twin Tiki. But he may be one of the most, how should I say this? He's a confident, humbled guys because he always doubted himself, and he used it throughout his entire career, and he went all the way to Canton. So we'll talk to him at 2:30.
Confidence without arrogance.
Yes, confidence without arrogance is great, but I'm wondering how you can be confident when you always doubted yourself.
Oh, well, now I don't know.
Yeah, it was just like
it's a weird line to walk.
He's always talked about how he never thought he was good enough, always thought he was going to be cut. Never so where was the confidence? Anyway, we'll talk to him. He did a lot of things in the pros that was incredible from a defensive back where he just did everything. Covered, blitzed the quarterback, run fits, everything. He just was that big of a dude. All right, U.S. Open.
Hell of a birdie just
There are, Scheffler birdied 2. So for people asking when did Scotty Scheffler go off, he went off at 125. He parred number 1, birdied number 2. He is in the church pews, bunkers, and 3. I don't know a lie. I can't tell from here. But I will tell you that there are about 10 dudes that are under par, leaders 4 under. Rory completely imploded. And maybe that's not surprising to people. But he started out 2 under through 3, and he was 2 under through 9. He played the backside first. And then it's bogey, par, bogey, par, bogey, double. Like shot 41 on the front. So he shot 74. He's not certainly out of it. He's 4 over. And if you expect that the winning score will be somewhere, even or a little bit less, unless it rains. If it rains and they get the thunderstorms that maybe they'll get, then the greens soften, and then all of a sudden, big, bad, tough Oakmont just gets lessened. I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a great fun course. Looks like Scotty's lie in the church pews is fine. He wasn't up against one of the pews, so this is a blind shot up 3. He knows exactly where to hit it, and it did go over the green into a bad lie. So we'll see if he can get up and down there. That will be very difficult. That's what I want. Was very fortunate enough to play there twice. I will tell you that there was nowhere of these conditions, but
what'd you shoot?
I broke 90. But at the time I was about a 6, so that should put it in perspective that I barely broke 90. Mm-hmm. I will tell you that I left there thinking that I loved the history more than the course. Not because it was hard, just because I just didn't have the appreciation for it that I probably should have then. But I love the fact that this is going to show some teeth and that maybe the winning score will be around par.
Yeah.
I left there thinking the coolest part about it was that I was able to play at a place where Hogan won and Nicklaus won, and that's the coolest part to me was the history. And you're walking in these ghostly spikes of guys that have been there in the 1920s and all that.
What about the level of difficulty? Now, was it the hardest course you've ever played?
No, the hardest course I ever played was Whistling Straits.
Okay, but was it a windy day that day? Because I hear Oakmont is just very challenging for amateurs.
I'll tell you why that I felt like the other ones were harder. Because if you miss at Oakmont, at least you can find it. You're not hitting it, quote, out of bounds. Mm-hmm. You're not hitting it in water hazards.
In Oakmont?
At Oakmont.
Yeah. Yeah.
At a place like Whistling, when you're playing off the lake and you hit it, it's gone.
Yep.
Now it's so that's why for an amateur, it's at least you can keep the ball within the playing confines at Oakmont somehow. But listen, it's very cool, and hopefully it'll have some bite to it. Where are you on the Pacers now? Are you going all in on them now that they're up 2-1? I love that game last night. I love that they rescued the first quarter. I love T.J. McConnell as a hustle guy, stealing inbounds, penetrating, dishing. I love Mathurin. I think that their role guys really won it. They had no turnovers in the second quarter. None. 0. They had 7 in the first. Yeah. They led by 4 at half. I thought that at this point, And by the way, they were able to close up the last 3 minutes where it looked like maybe that Halliburton was going to not be patient enough, or they weren't going to manage possessions well enough. And when he got it stolen late, but they sealed it up. You know, they're still a big underdog to win this thing, up 2-1. Are you ready to go all in and get 2-for-1 on your money right now with Indiana?
So the thing about Indiana, it might be hard for people to accept them being a good team, but things I like are teams that were on the come, like they're coming up. And then also teams with championship experience. So you have people in positions who have been there before. And then on top of that, you have a young star who's never tasted it. Indiana has all of these elements that I love out of a basketball champion. When you look at Boston last year, they went to a final. They went to multiple Eastern Conference finals, went to 2 finals, got nipped by an old Golden State team, and then they come back and finally win it, right, with a new mentality. Indiana makes it to Eastern Conference finals. Then they kind of make it in the playoffs in their first year, and you're kind of like, what is this team doing here? You know, Pascal Siakam is on the squad, but Pascal Siakam has a ring. Rick Carlisle has coached the championship. Tyrese Halliburton is giving me the same thirst, the same level of performance that I'm getting from like a D Wade who's never been in a championship back in 2006. And whether you like it or not, guys, I'm sorry. The players did vote him, Tyrese Halliburton, the most overrated player. And to be totally honest, guys, you shouldn't have done it. It was just a mistake because he's playing so pissed off, and this team is playing so fast. They move the ball. They share the ball. I thought OKC was the better team, but I believe that Indiana plays a better style of basketball.
They're not afraid, and they've rescued games, and they're never out of it. And I'll give you the exact odds when we come back, but I feel like the value is there now. You may as well try it, whether the pressure gets crazy, because if they win the next game, you aren't getting this value. Mention it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Whether it's water heater trouble, clogged or leaky pipes, or sub pump worries, Logan Services has you covered with service calls for just $79. We're fast, friendly, and here to help you with your plumbing projects. Logan Services.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Celebrate Father's Day and update your lawn with a little help from Ohio Mulch. Whether it's fresh mulch, rich soil, or expert lawn care products, a beautiful landscape, well, it begins with Ohio Mulch. Right now, get 5 bags of mulch or soil for just $10.95. Make your weekend project easier in the yard. Well, it'll be the envy of the block. Visit OhioMulch.com or stop by your local store. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there from your friends at Ohio Mulch.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply. Greener, greener, better.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Common Man and Timmy talking to you about the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Our guys at Hollywood are pulling out all the stops for summertime fun, live bands, food trucks, and more fun on select Saturdays.
Are they still doing the all-you-can-eat ribs?
Oh, yes, ribs. Tuesdays and Thursdays in June at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Join Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on us. Not Hollywood. Timmy and I are paying for it.
No, we're not. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
It's graduation season, a time to celebrate the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new story. At Diamonds Direct, we believe moments like these deserve to be remembered beautifully. Honor your graduate with a timeless gift, a birthstone ring, a classic pendant, diamond studs, or an heirloom piece they'll treasure forever. No pressure, all sparkle. And expert guidance every step of the way. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When you leave a job, don't leave your 401k. Grow your investment without the fees associated with 401k plans. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like chew this gum and it grows new teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Air quality alert back in place through later tonight, and it could be the hottest day of the year with afternoon highs soaring into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees with mostly sunny and somewhat hazy skies. Mostly cloudy tonight, and then chances of showers and storms are back into the forecast on Friday. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy and highs in the upper 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, a little Bet365 time because at Bet365, it's never ordinary. Official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Also, the official sponsor of the Rothman and Ice podcast is Bet365. And you can open an account now, bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Get after it. And I think the value on Indiana is too much to avoid. It's weird that they're offering almost 2-for-1 on your money to bet Indiana. They're up 2-1 in the series. If they win and go up 3-1, the percentage goes way up because I think right now the percentage is if you're up 2-1 in the NBA Finals that you're at 80%. So now them sealing the deal, who knows? I could see this thing still going 7, which would be a problem. But I'm going to take the plus 90. It just doesn't do me any good to bet on OKC right now. I thought there'd be better value. You can probably bet them plus 190, Indiana. And if OKC wins, if they go down 3-1, then maybe hedge it with OKC money. And then you'll be pretty good on both sides and feel like you could win something there. The other thing I'm going to bet on tonight is that Draisaitl has at least goes over 2.5 shots on goal. He had 0 in the last game. With game 4 at 8 o'clock, them being down 2-1 Edmonton, I'm going to bet that Draisaitl goes over 2.5 shots on goal, and that will be where you need to be. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Got to be 21 or older. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, Deepo, I want to get your opinion on this. The haves and the have-nots on Ohio State football as it's currently constructed with NIL. And I know that's individual, right? Stars are the stars, and whoever gets the money, it's because of their status. But now that you have revenue sharing, do the haves and have-nots, specifically even on the football team, stay the same, get worse, or better? And what I mean by better is better for the backups, better for the guys that won't get the NIL, just to have the depth. Because you get the word out there that, hey, you go to Ohio State and you're a depth piece and you're still getting a part of the revenue share. or a decent amount or better than most, I guess that would be advantageous because football's the priority. Where do you think it is now as far as, and this is NIL, so it's individual, but as far as revenue share, do you think that they'll spread it out even more amongst the football guys?
Well, I think the base salary version of like what the school sends the guys every month or every quarter, or however that goes, will be pretty even across board. But the idea and the concept of name, image, and likeliness, I believe it'll start to distill and the picture will start to clear for a lot of people who misunderstood it, because you'll have the clear understanding that everybody on the team, when your son gets a scholarship to Ohio State, anywhere, that's a Division I school that's a part of this revenue sharing model, they will make this dollar amount. Now, when you add name, image, and likeliness, that holds different weight for different people. And when you talk about have and have nots, let's just talk about the median. The poverty line is like 6 figures. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
right. But I'm just wondering if there's a guy on the football team who's the, I don't know, third string offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And he's not getting an NIL deal. Is this the way to kind of create more depth amongst, because all football coaches want depth, but if I knew that I was a third stringer and I would only play if there was an injury, but I'm still getting a decent share of the revenue.
Yep.
And I don't know that for a fact. I don't know where they are in this.
Well, it absolutely will affect the depth, because I think from a standpoint of, hey, I'm not jetting Ohio State to be a 2. I'm not staying at Ohio State. I'm going to jet from Ohio State instead of being a 2. I can go to Penn State and be a 1 for this dollar amount. Well, you might want to revisit that situation. And here goes when we were talking about the 3 elements of COVID, portal, and NIL happening at once. These rules can start to put walls in between them. The school being able to pay can somehow prevent that portal and leaving. And we haven't even spoke about this, what he said when he talked about they have to sign a contract and they'll have to enter arbitration if it's violated. So in the Jalen Ballard situation, there would have been an arbitration prior to the national championship game, just to my understanding, just what I heard today. There would have been an arbitration prior to him leaving, and then it would have been a review process of his contract to make sure there's like probably any buybacks, paybacks, or buyouts. Like, this is crazy. Like, right? Like, this is nuts. So I don't know if this changes the have-nots. I think it creates more of a line. Because it's like, I have what you have, plus.
See, my feeling is
Victoria's Secrets wants me to do underwear deals. AR.
My feeling is that it's institutional choice.
Yeah.
And I think the choice here in Columbus is always going to be football.
Yep.
And so Indiana showed how you could transform from being irrelevant to a playoff qualifier in an era where guys can transfer without penalty. So the risk now for Ohio State would be, do we spend the revenue share playing catch up with our other sports that need the help, or we just keep feeding the beast? 60% football, 20% or 20% basketball, and then the rest to, I guess, or men's basketball, and then the other 20 you split amongst women and volleyball, or if they can get how they have to deal with Title IX. So I do think that it would be weird for me to think that Ohio State would try to spread it out. And this is my vote earlier, which was, hey, the football guys get enough. But I understand that if you start deviating from that and word gets around, that's a risk.
Recruiting-wise.
Yeah, it's not amongst the stars, but maybe amongst the depth. And what do coaches want the most is talent and depth if they can get it. Because it's a long season, expanded playoff, injuries happen. They preach it, and I believe it.
So we don't get, if that gets out, we don't get that 3-star from Lancaster or Circleville. He goes to a Kentucky and goes to start.
Yeah. Now, maybe he still wants to start. Maybe that's important to him. Maybe you take less money to start. Like I said, it's all an individual case. But these schools, as I learned today, Ross Bjork is not required to publicly disclose his distribution percentage plan. That's what I heard today.
Well, why not? Because this is a state organization, institution.
Because he doesn't necessarily know exactly. Well, he knows how its distribution model. I don't know if he doesn't know how it compares to another school, but he knows one thing, that football is the financial lifeblood of all of their college sports. Now, a basketball blue blood, Kansas, Carolina, even though they have Belichick, Kentucky, they might say, well, we're going to spend less on football and compared to the industry standard, and then outpace all the other rivals and competitors with basketball spending. They have that right.
Yep.
And I think this is what we'll watch over the years, and probably what we'll hear, and you'll hear more than anything probably, just being so close to football, is are the have-nots on the team right now excited? Because maybe I'll get a little more than I thought I could get before, because I don't get an NIL deal, but if I get a piece of this revenue sharing,
you don't got to play. You get it.
I can feel like I can play for Ohio State and go to my dream school and still get some money.
Get some money. Yep.
That's it. All right. Here's your pre-snap read for today. We come back, bottom of the hour, 2 minutes actually, Gold Jacket Thursdays. And the man who maybe engineered the greatest play in history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ronda Barber. That's next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of laminate, luxury vinyl, and carpet, all drastically reduced. Cabinets and lighting fixtures, too. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Pop Road in Whitehall. 24-month financing is available with approved credit. Hurry. The Outlet Super Sale ends June 22nd. Dealers welcome.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
All right, it's a Gold Jacket Thursday, and so looking forward to talking with this man, the only player in history with that combo platter of at least 45 picks and 25 or more sacks. 8 of those went back for touchdowns. That's top 10 in history. The Super Bowl champ, as you know, with Tampa Bay, 2000s all-decade team. Man, he knocked on the door so many times. Canton finally said, it's your time. Class of 23 into football heaven. He's back, the all-everything defensive back, Ronda Barber. Ronda, how you doing? Thanks for this time.
Yeah, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Outstanding. You know, I absolutely loved your induction speech because I think every underdog in the world should have been inspired. I was. And when you said, if anything, you wanted to do things that others either could not or would not do, it really struck me. Can you detail that, if you will, in your mind, the things that maybe you did that you felt others weren't doing or that you had to do?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. When I was preparing that speech, there was a couple of things. I had somebody help me, but there was a couple of things that I knew that I wanted to say. And that was at the very, very top of the list. Obviously, you get past thanking, recognizing my mom and my brother and all, all those people. But I went into writing that speech wanting to deliver the message, which you kind of referred to, and it wasn't as if I wasn't ever successful. I mean, that's just a lie. I mean, I was dominant in high school. I was dominant, obviously, after my redshirt freshman year at Virginia. But when I got to the league, it was a slow start. Didn't play at all my first year. And I was on a team with a bunch of really good players, obviously. Three of them were in the Hall of Fame with me. And once I did start having a little bit of success, there were still so many doubters out there against me, writers, people that just really didn't understand my process. And there was many, many days, weeks, months where I used other people's doubt as fuel, right? And so when success started to come for me, I was NFL Defensive Back of the Year in 2001, led the league in interceptions. First time they'd hit double digits. I had 10 in like 20 years. And it didn't feel like enough. It didn't feel like the recognition was there, that I wasn't comparing against, my fellow pros. I mean, granted, I played in an era where Charles Woodson and Champ Bailey were the most dominant corners in football, and I felt like I was not in that conversation. So to answer your question, and it's a long way to answer this question, but it's important to have context. But when I tell you this is, I went into work every single day and did a little bit extra, or at least what I thought was extra, and told myself that those peers of mine on other teams or guys in my own building, which I knew, weren't doing what I was doing, whether that was, honing a technique or sitting in the film room, reanalyzing myself. I mean, I watched a lot of film on other people, but I spent a lot more time watching myself, trying to perfect my craft, or if for lack of a better term. And in my mind, I couldn't see people spending as much time as I did doing that. And it just kind of, translated itself into those words in my Hall of Fame speech. But it was really just that extra work that I was putting in, trying to prove to myself and to other people that I belong. And it's funny hearing me say that now. 16-year career, never missed a game, and in the Hall of Fame. But the reality is it wasn't always easy, and there was a lot of doubt in myself, in my game, self-doubt that I had to overcome. And but at the end of the day, it just drove me.
I think it's an outstanding answer. It's incredibly candid, and it struck a chord with me, someone that's been in this business for a long time and that's always fighting for that extra whatever to make something unique or make yourself stand out. We're talking with the 3-time first-team All-Pro, Ronda Barber up in Canton. How did you feel when Tony Dungy kind of created this belief in this core, couldn't get you all the way home, was let go, Gruden then comes in? Were you skeptical at that time? Did you feel like it was a weird transition because you guys have had a lot of success and then they get rid of him? And I know you probably thought about Gruden. And listen, they gave up picks, they spent money. And maybe tell me about that transition, where your mind was.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. But Tony's beloved, as well he should be, universally beloved. And his process was the only process I knew. Professionally, it had been 6 years, and longer for some of the other guys that had been there. And we all believed in him. I would say the reasoning behind it was us not being able to get over the edge and get to a championship game. We lost the NFC Championship in '99. We fell short in 2000, 2001, losing to Philly on the road. It was like we were the proverbial second-place finisher, right? Like we were the almost there. We try to ask yourself, why were we never getting there? And to be honest with you, you'll probably hear other guys on our defense say this. There was a different standard between what was going on offense and what was going on defense, right? Defense was top 10 in the league every single year. Led the league in takeaways, led the league in sacks. We were just we were a monster on that side of the ball, and it wasn't really reciprocal on the other side of the ball. We had great players. We had Warwick Dunn, with Mike Allstott. We had great players, but the standard wasn't the same. And John came in and brought a different standard. He's an offensive coach. He had the same mentality, if you will, that we had on defense. That challenge attitude, he brought that to the other side of the ball. And while the numbers aren't going to look any different, the attitude was different. And that's just a testament to John. And were they both great coaches? Absolutely. But it was a tough transition at first, because you have to buy into John. I mean, John's the ultimate showman. He likes, he likes being Chucky. He likes the personality, but he's very, very good at his job, and it translated to us into wins pretty quickly.
5-time Pro Bowler DB Ronda Barber with us on a Gold Jacket Thursday here on Rothman and Ice. Did you think it was going to be Parcells? I had read that it was. It was almost a done deal at the time. Did you as a player hear anything about that?
No. There was a couple of guys on our team that know Parcells and thought that he was going to be the guy, but from what I understand, once the deal got done with John, it was always going to be him. So look, I don't know. I certainly didn't have the relationship that I have with our ownership and our front office then that I do now. But the reality is we ended up with the right guy. I mean, he came in and challenged us as a team, as a unit, everything, and it translated into a Super Bowl in 1 year.
Was it true that he actually played scout quarterback leading up to that Super Bowl? And did he know the audibles that Rich Gannon would bark out? I felt like, and I'll ask it this way, how big of an advantage did you feel going into that Super Bowl against the Raiders, Gruden knowing the strengths and weaknesses of those players? On top of that, the defense you just mentioned you had, which is the best in the league. You had so much going for you. Was that just the ultimate advantage, did you feel?
Yeah. We can say that for sure. I mean, our defense, that Tampa 2 defense, the way we played it, was designed to beat those types of offenses. The offense that Gruden had in Oakland, that Callahan was continuing to run in Oakland. Did he run scout team? Yeah. I mean, he called some plays for us, and he got out there and ran scout team. To be honest with you, to this day, I don't know if it was a show for everybody or if it actually helped us. I have no idea.
Right.
But we knew that the real answer to that question is we didn't think anybody could beat us. Philly had beaten us earlier in the year. We knew that on our side of the bracket, we had to beat those guys. And so once we beat those guys the week before, actually it was the week before, because there was no bye week that at that time for us. Anyways, once we beat them, we had no fear of whoever we were playing on the NFC, even though they had the MVP and Charlie Garner and Jerry Rice was older. They had Tim Brown was older. Like we knew they had talent, but we knew that we were the better talent. And our defensive performance kind of proved that. So whatever advantage we had from the Raiders coach the previous year being our head coach and running through a couple of scout team plays, that wasn't what did it.
I agree. Arguably the most versatile defensive back in the history of the NFL, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, Ronda Barber. Let me take you back because I jumped ahead. The House of Horrors, Philly, going back for that NFC Championship game. Sub 30 degrees, Gruden's still wearing a visor, but and you're not aware of what's going on at the time because Aikman is talking all about Dawkins and Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor and that Donovan was going to kind of shred you guys, tear you to ribbons a little bit, especially you. Like, it was weird, like watching that game. Relive that moment for me. The pick six, maybe the greatest play in the history of Tampa Bay football. Was it designed that you were going to fake that blitz and then drop out, or is that your instincts at the moment?
No, it's just our instincts, my instincts. And you play in the defense long enough, you kind of understand, what teams are looking for from you. Now, I don't know to this day if that was the play called, if it was hot, or because it was a 3-step routes by the receivers, and it didn't really look like a hot read. But to set the scene, that for me personally, that was probably it was my best game, and it wasn't just because of that play. I had a sack fumble earlier in the game. I had a bunch of tackles. I think I ended up with 5 pass defense in that game. It was just, when you say that zone that you're in, like I was hyper focused, I understood the importance of the moment, and I knew that my position was going to be asked to make a lot of plays. It just was. We went into that game knowing that there was a lot on my plate, and I was ready for it. But that particular moment, that 92-yard touchdown that kind of sealed it, they were in hurry up. They were down, but they were in hurry up with 4 minutes or so left in the game. And Donovan's just doing Donovan stuff, man. Like he's scrambling around, making unbelievable plays out of the pocket, avoiding Simeon and Sapp, like stuff that he shouldn't be able to do in those situations. He did. And the player before that, he runs around for, I don't know, felt like 10 seconds and makes this long completion down to the 12-yard line or whatever it was. And you're in hurry up. They're playing fast. We're playing fast. We're really just in cover two. I mean, we don't have time to make another play call. But when Monty used to felt the energy going away from us, he would just call pressures. So that's where the instinct for me to showcase that came from. Because a lot of teams that played us knew if you made a big completion in 2 minutes, we were blitzing you. And so I just stuck my face in there, pretending like I was coming. And either Donovan didn't know that it wasn't a blitz, or he thought that area where he was going to was open because I was standing in the line of scrimmage. And I just backed out casually to where I was supposed to be, where the defense told me I was supposed to be. And all I had to do was catch it. And it capped off a pretty big game. But you talk about like people talking, in Troy, and I've obviously gone back and listened to it. Troy understood how good of a defense we were. Philly was probably thinking that I was the weakness in the defense because there were so many great players on our defense. Up front, John Lynch made the Pro Bowl. Dexter Jackson obviously ended up eventually being the MVP. My other corner on the other side of that in that game was Brian Kelly. Right. He led the league in interceptions that year. So if you were looking for a weak spot, it was me. But the reality is that was probably their worst game plan decision if they thought that was true.
And you were snubbed for the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah. So the year before led the league in interceptions with 10, right? And then I thought I had a better year the next year, that Super Bowl year, but I didn't have the numbers. I didn't have the same impactful numbers of production, if you will. But Brian Kelly did, and he didn't make the Pro Bowl. Like he led the league in interception. He didn't make the Pro Bowl. I thought I had a better year than the year before. I didn't make the Pro Bowl. And then Troy and Bobby Taylor did make the Pro Bowl.
That's right.
And Brian Dawkins. So we're playing in a game. They got 3 of the 4 defensive backs in the Pro Bowl, and we got one, John Lynch, and we felt like we were the better defense. So the shift that was on my shoulder was on all of our shoulders, to be honest with you. And it just materialized itself in my play that day.
Well, as the quote reads, you don't need no stinking Pro Bowl, man. You got a championship out of it. You'll be a part of this weekend. I want you to go to that staff kickball game and just destroy people.
No question. I think I can be a guest pitcher. I don't think my knees are going to let me freaking swing at a kickball anymore.
You've got to be soaking this weekend up in a little different way, but I know this is football's greatest weekend is coming. You know what it is, that July 31st through August 3rd in Canton, where fans can interact with Hall of Famers. You're going to be there, tomorrow, as I like to say, you can't miss him. He'll be the one in the gold jacket. So you'll be at the Hall from noon to 12:30, Saturday from 10 to 10:30, and then again from 12 to 12:30 in the museum. So we'll drive fans to see you, Ronda. I could talk to you for an hour. I know you got a schedule, man, but this was such a cool walk down memory lane for a guy that admired your entire career. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on. And, it's great to be in my forever home, doing forever home type stuff. So Hall of Fame's a great, great organization. Glad to be part of it. And this residency program is pretty cool for us to be here. Hall of Famers in the Hall of Fame. That's awesome.
Be well, my man. Thank you.
Yep, you too.
Ronda Barber, Gold Jacket Thursday, perhaps the most versatile DB in the history of the league, and doubted himself the entire way, all the way to Canton. We come back. We'll tell the truth to wrap it up. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. There are a lot of window companies out there, so why choose Universal Windows Direct? Let me tell you. First of all, I told you so. Also, you can get payments as low as $99 a month or no payments and no interest for an entire year. That gives you a full year to enjoy the comfort, savings, and curb appeal before you ever make a payment. Schedule your free assessment today, 614-502-5220, or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness, Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
What does summer bring to mind? Lazy days by the pool? Hot dogs on the grill? How about large, sweaty men putting work in to defend their national title? Yes! Your summer home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores, so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on eggs. Right now, 18-count cartons of large grade A Kroger brand eggs are just $3.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
All right, TLC, take us home on a kind of a weird, lazy river kind of day.
Yeah, it kind of was. All right, so DeVere, you were in last week.
Yep.
By the way, I don't know if you heard about Matty Ice. He's got some back pain. He had to miss yesterday's show, so I know you got a golf outing with him coming up soon. He may have to cancel. I don't know.
So Matty Ice is in so much pain with his back that he can't show up to work. This is where recreation sports go wrong, Matty Ice. This is where, like, you need to make sure those recreation sports are covered under your work health insurance.
How do you know he got it from recreation sports?
We're going to call it recreational sports.
Well, hey, speaking of recreational sports, he said that he was golfing with you soon, so you may have to check in on him.
Oh, this
and
is
make sure that his back will hold up.
Well, this is setting that back many weeks.
This is what, Yeah, he's going to move it back, or this is the excuse for the loss.
So he's missing work, and he's coming up with an excuse of why you're going to beat him.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned last week when I think you were co-hosting within the past couple of weeks with Ice at some point. You kind of briefly mentioned a story about Dabo Swinney and his involvement in your recruitment, and I want to hear the rest of the story. Tell the truth. What was Dabo Swinney's involvement in your recruitment? Because it sounds like there's a big story behind it.
Okay, so he called me.
At the time, by the way, wide receiver coach at Clemson before he was a head coach.
Yep. He was a wide receiver coach at Clemson. At the time, I had already had a basketball offer from Oliver Purnell, and he called me and he said,
At Clemson?
At Clemson. And he said, hey, Coach Purnell has already offered you. Is there any way, if you're really serious about being a two-sport athlete, you can go ahead and commit to Clemson? And I'm like, man, I really appreciate Coach Purnell, and I really, would you say your name was Dabo? Or I don't know how to say it. Like, how do you read that? You didn't know who he was. I didn't know how to say it. He said it's Dabo. And I'll be honest, man, I'm not going to waste too much of your time because I got 3 freshmen already committed, and these guys are going to be good. So, unless you want to come down here and take a visit and commit and come, be a two-sport athlete, the time is now. Come here and go to the NFL for 3 years. And I'm like, thanks, Dabo. I'm like, don't call me talking about you got 3 freshmen. Sammy Watkins, Martavius Bryant, DeAndre Hopkins were the guys he were talking about.
You buy this car right now because I got a guy coming here to take a test drive in 20 minutes. You want the car or not?
The guy comes by the car and right off the lot, all cash.
That is, well, listen, it's a pressure sales pitch. Who knows how real it was? You had no clue that he was eventually going to be the head coach. He would have been your head coach.
Well, it wasn't about the thing that sold me was not that he became head coach. It was that I was turned off because you said you had a commitment from 3 freshmen in high school. But these 3 freshmen ended up being Martavius Bryant, Sammy Watkins, and DeAndre Hopkins.
So he was telling the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really didn't feel pressure to have you.
He's like, hey,
with who he had coming.
All good. We'll be fine.
Okay.
And they were.
Well, you know what? That says, I'm glad you mentioned those names.
Yep.
Because now I realize that whoever he had in my little analogy of test driving the car were pretty damn good dudes.
So that was his recruitment style, was to go to receivers and say, hey, if you want to commit to us, go ahead, but don't worry, we're fine without you.
Well, no, football was late to the party. Like, they didn't know I was a football player.
You were a 5-star.
Well, no, not at this time. I was a hooper at this time. So it was like, they were like, oh, this guy plays football too as well. And so Dabo was just kind of testing and just kind of calling and fishing around.
Oh, so he didn't know.
He didn't know.
So which schools were in on you for basketball?
So it was Oakland University, Akron, Clemson, and South Carolina. And I think that's it, yeah.
So Clemson would have been the only one who offered you for both sports?
Yep.
Fascinating.
Yep, at that time, yeah.
I am glad that I asked.
Intercepted at the goal line. Unbelievable.
Imagine the cash you could have asked for. Nah. Wait, you want me to play both? Now with revenue sharing? Let me get a double helping of that.
Have we had an NIL basketball football player yet?
No, but there's somebody who is.
I would love to see that.
There's somebody right now. He's committed to Oregon. He's a top 40 recruit in both sports.
Okay.
Now there are a lot of guys who commit for multi-sports and then they always give up one and stick with football after their freshman year.
Now, if you're a multi-sport NIL guy, do you get both bags, Cole?
No. He's a quarterback, right?
No, he's a tight end. He's like a 6'6" tight end. He's like it. He's like number 12 in football, and he's number 39 in the country in basketball.
Okay, because you might get a lot of. Well, you could get football, baseball.
Yep.
You could get that.
Yep.
And then it depends on whether that school feels
football track.
Yeah.
No.
All right, and then you're gonna love this one, AR.
Mm-hmm.
The fan poll today.
Yeah.
Who are you taking for the U.S. Open, Scotty Scheffler or the field?
I'm taking the field this week. But I'm saying he's probably even parlay. He's probably 3-4 back. He's in perfect spot. I'm going to say that the teeth of Oakmont, not that he can't handle it, but I've been watching enough golf today to think that maybe someone could take him down this week. We'll see.
If the rain happens like Memorial, he shot good in the rain. It was scary Friday.
Yeah.
Does that vault him up? These guys struggle. Scotty,
I don't know.
He powers through.
I think that actually the easier, that's all relative, but the easier the course is, that maybe that brings more people into play. But the harder it is, the more he'll be able to handle it, but we'll see.
Crack is whack.
Depot, thanks for coming in, my man. Good to have you.
It was a good time, man. I feel like, I got a monkey off my back. I got a show with AR finally. Just took 3 years. I'm all happy now. Good to go.
More to come, my man. All right. We'll come back tomorrow, high noon. Thanks for listening. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
Hey, you. Wouldn't a Diet Coke at 7 a.m. totally hit? You know you can get that from Wendy's for just $1, right? Even you, girl drinking a Fanta on the way to 8 a.m. Pilates class. Any soda you want, any size, just $1. So go get that breakfast soda, you morning menace. But maybe hurry, because it's only during breakfast. Morning soda, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Hawaii.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gahanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. These windows were great. Oh boy, for about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.